What is up, man?
Pray it's not too late, Dylan.
I'm praying. I think we are late, though, as always.
Station. Pop,
Station,
pop.
my brother. Pop, pop, boom. Man. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing pretty good. Had a pretty good day at work. Had a pretty good week. Spent a lot of time with my lady this week. We watched some good movies. We watched The Gate. Watching some Superman movies, getting ready for Monday night, and I am 100% excited for next week, which is the start of March Madness. Second annual.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Hell yeah, dude.
But I'm happy to be here with you and the awesome assortment of the usual suspects that we have here to talk about this fantastic movie from my childhood.
I know, man. It's been a long requested one since I've started the horror show. I'd say the biggest advocate to review this one is the one and only, my man, Fable, man.
Dylan, you've been bad.
Station, my brother. Yeah, man. Dude, that's a good one, bro. Like, right when, like, that's some fucking Toby Hooper shit right there. There's some great effects in this, straight up, man. Straight up, though, man, you know that ain't all we got in the house tonight, man. We also got my man, Burno, from the Cerebros.
What up? What's going on?
Dude, glad you
Stoked
could
to be here.
man.
Glad I got my cat. If they want to know, I'm probably the reason why we're late. I'll take the blame on this one.
Ain't nobody gonna say nothing, Burno. You got it. Why?
Man, you know what?
Well.
You know
the
what?
architect of your own destruction.
Hey, that's fine. They've been telling me that my whole life.
They're used to it by now, man. But I love the shirt, man. I love the shirt.
Thanks, brother.
Hey,
Wore
man,
it to work today. Nobody said a fucking word. It's like, dude, come on. Look at this thing.
Hey, man, it's Star Wars. Don't give me shit. But last but definitely not least, man, fucking my main man, the homie, man. Always glad to have him, Steph, my man. Dude, thanks for joining, bro.
Ephanopoulos.
Metal.
How you doing, Steph?
Good. Happy to be here.
Oh, man, always good to have you, bro. You have a good week?
Yeah. I got my son over right now, so he's kept me busy for the last few days.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah.
Has he seen this movie? Because this is a good movie for a child. How old's your kid? He's only a couple years or what?
Yeah, he's just 2. But
I think that's
could
fine.
Probably get him to watch certain scenes, but I don't know if his attention span would warrant anything else.
Right.
Yeah, they usually are glued to the animated stuff at that point.
Yeah.
Regular movies, not so much.
Anything 3D animated?
Yeah, right. Oh man. See, like that Spider-Man then?
Into the
the
show?
Miles one?
Yeah, he loves Into the Spider-Verse. He's actually
Heck
watching
yeah.
that right now.
Really?
Oh, that's
that's
crazy.
Oh,
funny.
nice.
I love that
Dylan,
movie.
Psychic
too,
Dylan.
But yeah, man. So we're here to review the freaking one and only, man, The Gate from what was it, 1987, with a young Stephen Dorff, aka Deacon Frost, man, from what probably everyone in this community will know him from. And
You're gonna wake up one day and find yourself extinct.
Yeah, man. I love him as Deacon Frost. He's great in this too, man.
For fuck's sake, these people are our food.
Did you do the little spinny thing? Yeah. God.
Damn it, Frost! I'm talking to you. And he got slapped. Remember that scene when he got slapped? Bruh.
Yeah.
I remember this dude in the theater next to me like, damn, that dude just got bitch slapped. Anyway. Yeah.
I honestly didn't know that was him. I didn't know.
Yeah, little Stevie Dorff. And that's what I remembered the most about this film, aside from
Me too.
the special effects, but that it's him, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And you asked me to name 3 Stephen Dorff movies, I'm fucked. Right? Because I got 2. I got The Gate and I got Blade. But he's in other things, of course. I could do 3 in a TV show. The third one is, I can't remember the fucking name of it though, but it's like an old school, like in the 60s, where he plays like a kind of like little, like where he's like 18 and he's like running like a little gang in New York.
Oh, I know. Came out like 2002.
Phoenix.
What movie is that? Oh my God.
James Franco's in it, where they got that little New York like teenage gang.
I know what you're talking about.
I love that. Like, damn.
Deuce is Wild. Deuce is Wild.
Yes.
Dude,
yes.
I love that movie. I forgot all about that movie
too, bro.
He's in a bunch of stuff. I'm looking at it right now. He's in a ton of movies.
And then, you know what's funny? The show I would throw out there is True Detective season 3, and he co-stars with Mahershala Ali, who is the new Blade.
Nice.
So isn't that's kind of, I always, when they announced him, I was like, that's so funny that like he's the new Blade, and that they literally shared like like the screen together like a year before he got casted. He might have already been like getting like casted, and like they could have been talking like, yeah, I'm about to be Blade, dude. Like,
wouldn't it be cool to see?
Remember those days?
Wouldn't it be cool to see Stephen Dorff come back as Deacon Frost in Multiverse Madness, or even in the next Blade movie? I still think like if you want, like it's fine to use. You can still use him. And now he's more like, in the comic book, Deacon Frost is like this older guy with a lot of like sophistication about him, right? So they completely reimagined him for the Blade movie, but he could play a little bit more of a balance between the two of them nowadays. I think. I really do.
I'm sorry, I forgot. There's a fourth one I know him in. He played the sheriff in that Leatherface prequel. If you ever seen that,
I never saw that.
You never saw that? It's about
the beginning.
Like, it's like the young Leatherface or whatever, like, and how he became or whatever. But yeah, he played Stephen Dorff, man, plays a good sheriff in that, man. Just like kind of reminds me of the sheriff in Devil's Rejects. If you guys know who I'm talking about, the guy who plays the fucking asshole stepdad in Halloween. He plays like a sick, demented sheriff.
Yeah, like John Forsythe or something like that.
Something
like that.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it.
Here's a funny thing I want to say. So, like, how old do you think Stephen Dorff is in this film?
Oh, what, maybe
like
10?
11?
That messed me up because this movie came out, what, 89? And
87.
87? So
87.
What,
he's
11
born
years.
He's born in 73. So when the movie released, he's 14.
Yeah, that's
wow.
Yeah.
He looks really young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No shit.
You gotta think like 11 years later, he was Deacon Frost in Blade, 98.
Yeah. I could have swore this kid was like 8 to 10 years old in this movie.
Well, that's, you know what? You could think about it that maybe because of the special effects, it took maybe 2 years to make.
That's true.
So maybe he was 12 when they filmed it or something. I could see that.
Totally.
Because, there is a lot of like I feel like game changing like effects in this, like for 87. You know what I mean? Like it looks like there's almost green screen. I don't think it is green screen, but it's
especially
probably
that
like
explosion,
the matted
at the end.
paintings or whatever.
Yeah, and they're using a lot of forced perspective in here, which they used in the
Right.
Lord of the Rings movies, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
Like this blew me away because I found out like today that those were fucking dudes in suits.
That's
with
what
those
I
little
thought.
feet.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Had to be because it's too
Because I was
smooth.
like, I thought that it was some kind of, I was like, that's a weird. I was thinking it was some kind of like claymation or some shit,
Claymation.
right?
Right.
But like, no, it's like dudes in suits. So they're literally like that scene when they like the dude falls down and they break up, which is one of the best scenes in the movie, and they're just running around. And I found a GIF of them running around with all Gary Busey faces, and I wanted to put that. I should have put that in the intro actually. But so they're like shot, they're like way below, and there's a forced perspective that's being put on. They have the actors there, and then they have the little dudes. It's so crazy. Like you don't have to do things on green screen anymore. You know, like I mean, you never had to. Like it's got a texture to it that makes it feel real and fantastical. It really sets you into this movie. We talk about these 80s movies that are dark and shit, like Legend. Oh, it's scary. Gremlins can be kind of scary and shit. This movie is one of the scariest PG-13 movies I think in existence. I would say 100% one of the scariest PG-13 movies for an age-appropriate viewer.
Oh yeah. Would you say it's scarier than Gremlins then?
Not to me personally, because Gremlins still fucking scare me because I just reptilian claws and shit. But this movie, when you're a kid, because it presents itself, it is a kid's movie. It's an all ages movie. Like it's weird because it totes the line. It really, like, maybe because they don't kill people, there's not blood, shit like that. But like the scene with the fucking dad when he like puts his hands into him and he's like oozing out and shit, but that's like fucked up. Dude, that's like some of the best that's some of the best. I almost said CG. That's some of the best effects that you see in 80s horror, and it's done in 87 in basically a kids movie that doesn't ever talk down to the kids, which I think is amazing. Straight up.
I was saying backstage that it just from the get, man, it feels so Spielbergian to me, man. Just like Spielberg straight up could have produced the film, you know. I love it though. I love that vibe though, like, because I feel like you give that, like, I mean, that's what made Poltergeist so iconic, because you get Tobe Hooper's horror perspective, and then you throw in Spielberg's, you know, just like that whimsical, every kid's dreams vibe, you know what I mean? And it just works, you know, and that's what I feel like you get in this, but it has more of the horror in it, I feel like it, but it has that fantastical vibe to it that I just absolutely adore, man. And like any film that you can get like that, it just feels like, you know, out of this realm in a way, you know. I love it, man. It's been so long, but they did a sequel for it too, The Gate 2, and that kind of digs more into like the gate and, you know, like more of the you know, lore. Stuff about the monsters and the lore, I guess, you know. So that's one. And Scream Factory actually put that Gate 2 Blu-ray out, which I've been dying to get, man. But I know I'm pretty sure you can watch The Gate 2 on a couple platforms, maybe Prime or Tubi or something.
Man, I wouldn't have seen that since like the early 90s, man.
Yeah, it's been
I barely remember Gate 2.
I threw it out randomly, and I like passed out. Like when I was tired as hell and I passed out, but I remember I did have fun with it when I was younger, so I do want to check that out one of these days.
And I think that came out in the movies too, because I vaguely remember going to the movies to see it.
Yeah, I remember it almost feels more like Hellraiser 2, where they go more into that, like the world of the gate. Right. I could be wrong. It's been so long, but yeah, something like that.
Word.
But yeah, man. Steph, man, was this your first time watching this, brother?
I've seen this before on like back in the day, like they would play it on like UPN,
right?
You know, cable and stuff. I think this is like the first time I watched it and actually focused on it. I agree with what you said. It definitely had like that whimsical feel to it, like almost like a horror adventure almost.
Yeah.
Right.
And to Robbie's point, it straddling the line. Like I was thinking earlier at watching it, like it kind of gave me like I was thinking of that one movie that came out like a few years ago, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Right.
And it looked great, but it was like almost corny. Like you could tell it was really aimed for kids. While this kind of reminded me of that, but like Robbie was saying, it straddles the line. Like the atmosphere is really dark, even though they never kill anybody. There's like a lot of dark shit going on throughout most of the movie, and I enjoyed it. It was different. It wasn't perfect, but I had fun with it.
Nice.
Yeah, dude.
Robbie also hit it right on the nail with the best Goosebumps episode ever made. I think I called it or something like
right from me.
Yeah,
You're waiting for. I was saving that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, you said it
I
on
was
like
gonna
3
say
different
that.
shows. Sorry.
I was gonna be like, this is the best season premiere of Goosebumps ever.
Well, it's
Yeah,
funny
man.
because I had watched half of it, and I kept on just throwing it on while I was going to bed, and I was watching it, and just I didn't really get a feel for it. I was like halfway through, and then I did a show with you where you said that, and then I went and watched the whole thing. It's like, yes, like that's so exactly what it feels like, almost Disney-esque as far as like a horror movie.
Yeah, but with that, like the atmosphere is rather intense.
Yeah,
You know, for
Mhm.
kids at the time, and I know it's PG-13, but we're talking about 6-7-year-olds that were watching this shit. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And looking at the budget, so the budget it was made for $6 million,
Wow,
and
it's
it
not
only
bad.
made $13.5 million at the box office. But this, I guess, just really grew that audience in the video store because it's got that dope ass cover.
That cover, dude. Hell
Yeah.
yeah, dude.
So-
Hell yeah.
And
So
it
was
was a
it
movie that
considered-
you could get. Like you know, your mom would be like, "All right, last night I rented Final Chapter. There were a lot of tits in that movie. So tonight we're gonna go easy. So find something like Gremlins." And I'd be like, "What about The Gate?"
Was this movie considered like a financial failure?
I guess so. I mean, first of all, it's a Canadian film, right?
Oh,
So
wow.
Feels like it.
it's
There's an exchange.
it does feel like it. So it was produced by Alliance Entertainment. So I mean, basically the reception was that it's got a pretty media. Okay, so I'm on Wikipedia right now. Critical response, Rotten Tomato right now it's at 60%, which is I think kind of low for what most people that I know think about this film.
I think it's 70, 75.
At the time in the LA Times, they compared it to Steven Spielberg meets Stephen King, and they called it therefore a hopeless copycat.
Yeah.
Jesus. But this is something that I guess it just kind of built a cult following, you know, like a lot of the ones that we cover here.
Well, I think it was probably one that was on TV a lot because it's TV friendly.
I'm pretty sure it
Right.
was actually, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it killed it on the VHS market too. I mean, I don't know if Vestron put the VHS out, but
This shit may have been
Yeah.
on all over HBO or something. You know what I'm saying? In the early
Right.
90s or whatever. You watch it on those free weekends everybody would get.
yeah, I mean, it's one that you could have thrown on cable and you don't really even have to chop it up or anything, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a perfect one for TV. But Bruno, my brother, what were your thoughts on this? Because this was your first time watching this.
No,
correct?
well, I mean, if it pretty much felt like the first time, like when I was on some show with you guys and you mentioned The Gate and you showed that cover, and I was like, is there something like in the backyard? Like I know I'd seen this as a kid, but this is definitely the first time I've seen it in 25 years or so. So as I said initially, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't realize it was for kids, or you know what I mean, or that it was more directed there. So I enjoyed it. It didn't like blow me away. It took me a bit. It's slow to start, but
Right.
once it gets going, it's pretty kick ass. Like it does it doesn't really kick off until I think it was like 38, 40 minutes into the movie. And then it does just roll and it's super entertaining. So I liked a lot of things about it. I wasn't floored by it, but I did definitely enjoy it. I had fun with it for sure.
I can totally dig that response too, because if you grew up with this film, you have a different experience with it, right? you know,
Yeah.
and then like, and I was thinking about this when I was trying to watch the movie, and I'm enjoying it, but I'm also trying to have that critical side of the mind working, right? And you're right on you hit the nail on the head right there, Verna. Like, it's got a really slow first act, man. It takes a while for this film to kind of really get going.
It's only like an hour and 20 minutes, though.
I know, and so a movie that's that tight, like that short, to not feel tight and to feel like heavy on one side, like slow at first, and then it speeds up. It takes a while to get going. And I'm not trying to be overly critical of the fucking Gate. I know the kind of I know what we're talking about, but Verno has a point there. I think is very valid. That's something I picked up, and this is the first time I've watched it in like 20 years or so.
And it's not like I don't enjoy the first part or I think it's bad. I like it. It's just it's a 1987 movie. People were more patient back then. So they're like, oh, we'll just take our time. People will watch it. What else do they have to do? We'll get to the good stuff. We'll save some of that money for the second and third act.
But ideally, tighten up that first act, get to it quicker, keep the kids there at the party, kill more of them off.
Right. Kill anybody besides the dog, man. Come on.
I know.
And that's just like
But he came back, you know, spoilers, right?
Yes.
Carrying the dog around, the dead dog around too, for like, I'm like, what the fuck is
that's fucking
on?
By the way, devastating to a fucking 6, 7, 8 year
It
old
was
watching
devastating to me at 27 years old. I'm telling you, man. I was like, dude, come on, not the dog. Anyone but the dog.
And they keep going back to him. They kill him, and then we've got the guy walking around with his dead body, and then he shows up. He's in the bed with his tongue out. It's like, Jesus.
Yeah.
But you're right,
Driving
Robbie. They
around
did
with
bring
the
him
dead
back at
dog.
the end. Like,
Right.
Buddy. Or whatever his name was.
He's 97 years old.
Yeah. You look just like my neighbor's dog growing up. It's funny. I see that dog, and I'm like, it's like, you know, dogs, like breeds, they go in and out of fashion. That was a fashionable dog back in 87. You don't see many dogs like that around anymore. I don't know if it's just me.
Interesting point.
Hell yeah. I just got this puppy too.
Nice.
Dude, I like had one Chucky shirt and it like really doesn't even show Chucky on it. He's kind of like, it's like all blacked out where you can barely even tell it's him. And I saw this, I was like, I gotta get it. Especially because it's black too.
Hell yeah,
favorite
man.
color. Fable, my brother, man, the biggest advocate for me to review this movie since day one, man. I am wondering what the hell you are gonna say about this, man. What did you think, man?
Well, yep. I'm definitely one of those kids that grew up with this movie. Definitely the right age for it. 8 years old, I believe. I remember back in the days being scared of this movie. There were certain aspects of it that were very scary. You know, those little imp creatures, the way they move is very peculiar, right? Like they're like stop motion, but they're not stop motion, right? And their design is really creepy. There's a lot of things in this movie. The dad going, you've been bad, and the way his voice changed. I used to think that the little kid, the one with the glasses, I forgot his name.
Terry.
Terry. Yeah. You know, that part where he's singing that heavy metal song, and then that voice comes on talking about the demons. I was all into that, man. I used to love that stuff.
You're in the demons.
Yeah, demons.
Yeah, satanic panic, baby.
Evil Dead. Yeah, give me all that stuff.
Me too, Fable.
And yeah, this does have that Spielberg quality to it. You're right, but on a much smaller scale. It does feel like a low budget Canadian made thing, like a Goosebumps kind of feel to it. But you know, on this watch, I kind of had that feeling like it was going to be a bad movie. Like, you know, you start seeing it like, oh man, this is going to ruin me, right? It's going to ruin that memory of this movie for me. And it didn't. Verno said it, man. It's very entertaining, you know. It's a great adventure, a great romp. You know, it's not as scary, of course, as it used to be, but it's still a great adventure, the things they go through. And this is the kind of thing to me that, hey, you want to remake something? This is prime for remake right here.
Mm.
Yeah.
They did remake it. It was called Stranger Things. They just added some elements to it.
Right.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, this movie's great, man. This movie's great. And I think kids today would still find it scary.
Yeah, I dig it.
Definitely. Oh, I mean, I'll show it to my nieces because you're right. Yeah, 100%. I think kids are into creepy stuff. And like Robbie said, this borders on being like a little bit too scary, but that's what they like from what I've noticed.
Yes. It's what I liked when I was a kid. Like 100%. Like I wanted it gnarly. I wanted it gross. I wanted it sexy. I wanted it. I always wanted to go too far.
Right.
And then one day I watched a movie that went too far, and I was like, "We need to dial this shit back. You're on the wrong path in life, Rob."
Plus, this movie too. Like, I just thought about this today, but like in the '80s, a lot of horror movies, like we liked our movies about houses, right? There's a lot of house movies or based in houses or just one location kind of thing.
Yeah.
And this has that whole poltergeist, one house, something screwy's going on.
Yeah. I mean, where do you feel safest, right?
Right.
So that's a good place to attack in a horror movie. Yeah, 100%. Especially for a family oriented one. Because what's safer than being at home with your family, especially when you're a kid? But mom and dad are out. Oh, sister's having a party. Maybe I'll sneak a peek. There's a hole in the backyard. And yeah, shit happens, man.
It's probably why I love You Better Watch Out so much, right? Because it has that feel.
It does, actually, yeah. A little bit different, obviously, but yeah, it does have that feel. It's kind of like The Gate without all the hell dimensional shit. Just a crazy kid. Like, what if Steven Dorff was wanting to bang and kill his sister? What? It's a different, that movie wouldn't be PG-13.
That would be Pornhub.
Is it there? I bet it's there.
This movie didn't age well for me. I'm sorry to hear that, man. I still love it, man. I think it,
Why you gotta be
it
so
takes me
critical,
right back.
Big Herm? It's just like Marvel Comics. Like, it's just big dumb fun. Come on, man. Loosen up.
Everyone's got their own opinion, though. Some things honestly, too, your mood can be a big factor, too. Like, if you just, like some days you're just not really feeling it. Like, you could just throw it on, or sometimes you kind of force yourself to throw it on, And if you're just not feeling it, it just doesn't feel as good. Sometimes it'll take you back, and sometimes it won't. And then there could be a day where you're just, like, feeling, like, in that mode for something more kiddish, but lighthearted with a little bit of horror, and that could hit perfect, and you'd be like, this is fucking, it brings you right back to when you were a kid, or not. Everything ages different. There's times when I'll watch something and I'll be like, this just did not age as well as I remembered, as a kid or something, so it happens. Robbie, my brother, what's your thoughts on this?
This is the best episode of Goosebumps ever.
I knew that was coming. I knew it.
I love this movie. I loved it when I was a kid. We've talked a lot about this already, so I'll try to keep this brief and concise. But I loved it when I was a kid. I remember watching it all the time. It may have been on HBO or something, along with like Monster Squad in that era, because I remember we had HBO during that time, and I was watching Monster Squad a lot on HBO. So whether it was there on Fox or who knows, whatever, video store, I watched The Gate a lot when I was a kid. I was obsessed with it. I loved it. When I first watched Blade, I made the connection. This is the kid from The Gate, man. This is awesome. I was really excited. In fact, I was as excited for Steven Dorff in this movie as I was for Wesley Snipes, right? And the movie did not let me down. Okay, spoilers, Robbie loves Blade. But then I remember a couple years after that, it was on AMC's Monster Fest, and that was in the days where I was recording movies that were on, Turner Classics or AMC when they played movies, when they actually just played old movies. And so like they would do this thing, especially they would do Fear Friday, right? And so I would record all these movies, and this was on the same tape as Fright Night and Brides of Dracula. And I remember watching those three movies on my extended play VHS over and over in my like late teens, early 20s. And then I haven't watched it since. So revisiting it, yeah, I can look at it critically and be like, it takes a while to really get going, I think, right? But when it gets going, it fucking does it. It's got great special effects, like amazing fucking special effects. Some of the best special effects in the 1980s and that late period, especially. You know what I'm saying? Because 87, we're at the tail end where this shit's about to stop being as cool. Because production companies and studios are about to take not as many risks from this point going forward. And I think this was the last hurrah of the really scary, like maybe too far much PG-13 kind of thing. PG-13 still relatively newish, you know, so it's an interesting rating to play with. You got to think in the early 80s, John Hughes did a movie with full topless women in it that was rated PG. That's 16.
What was
Critters,
it? It just
man.
went from PG to R?
Yeah, it just went from PG to R. And then I think it was Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
They did PG-13 because they were like, you know what? This is kind of okay, but some kids may be scared. And that's kind of where the gate lies, right? But I said brief and concise. But overall, I really like it. It holds up for me. The music in this movie is fucking awesome. It's great. I can't wait to dive into that. Performances are solid for what they are, especially for a lot of kid actors. You don't really get into any of the other characters. There's some missed opportunities where you could kill some of these older teens. They just get to just leave. And this one dude just brings over a 6-pack of beer. Like, bruh, if you're trying to get a high school orgy going on, you're going to need more than 6 beers. Anyway, that's where I'll end.
Hey, do you mind if I ask, why do you think studios quit taking risks at that time? Is there something behind that?
Yeah, this was at the time where they were starting to blame pop culture for certain things, and they were attacking music. They were attacking the album covers. They were attacking, like, we were talking about the rise of hip hop in the earliest days of what they would eventually be called gangster rap, right? This was that Tipper Gore era where it was like, you know, parental advisory. And that's just basically what happened when you look at the history of horror and you focus in on the 80s. The 80s was an explosion. There's a good reason why most of the movies we cover here are from the 80s, right? And then they really dried up in the 90s. And if you think of the 90s has some great movies, but they're all kind of like the whole family can go to the theater and watch these. Yeah, and they're safer movies. Even the horror movies get a bit safer, and that's why it's cool to see the rarity throughout the 90s, but they're usually not from mainstream studios. But I think that's what happened. There was this whole turn in American culture at the end of the Reagan years, and Tipper Gore had a lot to do with this shit too. In music, in movies, on TV, at toning violence down, at toning drug use down, at toning gore down, because this was going to lead to depraved society. We're coming off the Satanic Panic, so it just kind of all coalesced into one. Like Kiss, you know, like I remember being like fucking told that Kiss was going to make me like a Satanist or some shit, you know. Still haven't. They still haven't, but you know, whatever.
There's still time.
That's right.
Interesting.
Never give up on Satan, I guess.
Never.
No, but I guess, yeah. JT says he remembers those days, but that was Fable remembers that, right? Where there was like this conscious push to like, and it was like a backlash against just some of the excess. They were talking about the violence in movies like Rambo and RoboCop, and that they were targeted towards kids and Freddy Krueger and Jason.
Same,
and kids
Just Say No era too. I mean, that's
exactly
that time. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you saw RoboCop toys, Rambo toys. These are rated R movies. And they're selling the toys. So what is the kid? You're basically telling the kid to watch the movie. Like, I didn't see that. I want to get the toy, so I'm going to watch the movie.
Yeah, like Demolition Man would have been a way different movie in 1985.
Right.
Oh, I want to see that one.
I feel like Pulp Fiction gets kind of credit for, and that was only 94, but that changed a lot of things where people were ready like for violence. Then again, that was clearly they weren't making.
That's an independent
Pulp
film.
Fiction action figures at the time.
Well, and then that was an independent film. You know, Miramax was coming in. They were the Maverick at that time. So they were breaking that studio system. And that's why the indie films are incredibly important for the 90s, including Pulp Fiction, Clerks, the Richard Linklater stuff like Slacker, that got them into the studio production and eventually got us some things. Like think about Porky's and all the the TNA comedies of the 80s and how that disappears for a long time until American Pie happens. in like 99 or whatever, right?
And then every movie was American Pie after that.
Exactly.
for years.
Yeah.
We're
Old
still
school
doing
road
it.
trip. Yeah.
Right.
American Pie 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Right.
9, 10. Yeah. So that's what I think about it. But Dylan's not here. So
Dylan, what do you think about it?
Yeah,
What was
Dylan,
your
what do you
experience
think
like
about it?
watching this movie?
We should all
again?
just be doing the bit when he gets back and he thinks his computer froze. But we won't do that. I know that Dylan likes this movie, and I don't want to move on. There he is.
There you go.
Sorry, man. I got a phone call.
Oh, you fine, man. Dylan, you're important. It's so important that we're just oozing with anticipation, with eagerness at what you think about this movie overall.
Yeah, man. I absolutely love it, man. I take it for exactly what it is, It's got more of that, kid. It's more meant for kids, but it's more of that, like prime time era where you can kind of prime your kids to get into horror movies with something like this, or be something to watch with them, if you're like an adult and want to, throw something on that you can watch with them instead of just watching, like Teletubbies or something, I don't know. But I absolutely love it, man. The practical effects are just insane, especially for 87. Like, it don't get better than practical effects, and this is exactly why. And the little creatures just look so cool, man. When they're splitting apart, when they're running around, the close-ups of their faces, when the kid is going up to his dad and his face is just deteriorating, and when you get like the big giant beast at the end, the house, like opening up and the whole gate through it, it just has so much awesome stuff going on for it, man. And I have so much fun with it, man. It takes a little bit, I guess, to get into it. But in ways, man, I feel like it kind of gets into it quick, but it doesn't, like, it's like at that 50% speed where like it gets into it where they're like opening up, they're digging the hole and everything, but you don't see like any monsters until like probably 45 minutes in, maybe. I don't know. But I would not doubt that it was hard for them to get, these practical effects done, especially since they were so game changing at this time, and just it wasn't happening back then, especially since all these monsters were dudes in suits, and they're like, I want to say that, I don't know if they were regular sized people. They might have been,
regular sized people. They
were
were using that forced perspective thing. It's like the way they did the Hobbits or in Lord of the Rings in the early days. They would, the dudes are like way far away from the main actors and shit, right? So the way they set it up, like, it's really interesting. And do you I love how nonchalant the dad is about this giant gaping hole in the fucking backyard. That's totally not just something that his fucking boy dug up. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, you like, that's a pit. That's like called city. Like, some shit's going down here, man.
And it's breathing.
Yes, it's breathing.
Right.
But yeah, man, I adore this film, man. It's a lot of fun, and just absolutely love Stephen Dorff in it. And I just love the creatures in it. That's like the biggest thing for me, is the creatures.
Yeah, I think they shot it in high speed, and then did some like double framing or something like that. So because they move in a different speed, where it almost looks like they're claymation. That's why you might get that memory like they were.
Yeah, they moved like their was it Harryhausen or whatever, right? Like that kind of like Clash of the Titans type shit, right? It almost looks like that, but it's not, and it's really unnerving when they're moving around and shit. Like, it's kind of like, wow, they're the best characters in the movie to me.
Yeah.
Like, they're really, those little demon dudes are fucking great, man.
Yeah.
Especially when they come out and just straight up bite that kid like twice. Like, they just come.
Dude, they're like chomping fucking down, bro. And then all the practical effects, like the eyeball and the hand, looks fucking dope as shit.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know what predates what, this or Vampire Hunter D, but you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a cool effect that's in there. Plus, you've seen that in other kind of fictions.
Yeah.
the big monster at the end looks pretty dope, man.
Yeah.
And
The actual
atmosphere
stop
there,
motion.
Yeah,
Actual
and
stop motion is amazing.
And then like just
1985 for Vampire Hunter D.
Nice. But just little touches, right? Of like the light that Argento, like somebody's watching a Dario Argento film in the pit when they got the boards over it and it's like smoking and this pink light's coming up and shit. And it's just little shit like that. I fucking love. I think it's great. It looks really sharp.
I wonder how they did that with the smoke, because it's not CG smoke. Like, do they have a fan sucking that smoke down into the hole? Because that looked pretty dope to me.
That
you know
looked
what I'm
like
talking about?
some reverse shit, right? Like where the smoke like was going into the hole.
I wasn't sure about that, because how do you get the smoke to come out and like stay on the ground? Like, I don't think it would do that. It would just kind of come out. It was like staying on.
If it's like a dry ice type thing and you have it coming out and it's like not a windy area, like if it's a controlled set or some shit, it will come out and just kind of lay there in a fog. Okay. You see that in like haunted houses and shit when you go to it, where it just kind of lay on the ground. So I think it was that reverse effect, but it looks fucking badass, man.
The phone melting too. It's just a phone melting, but it just because it's red and it's old school, something about that. That's a nice effect too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the phone is one of those revert. When the phone like melts, that's like the reverse thing.
They unmelted it?
No, what they would do is they would just melt it and then they reverse the foot and like record it melting and then they reverse the footage. So then like just the way it would like kind of like, you gotta watch it. It just the way it like melts and everything.
Okay.
Robbie.
The booger demons. I like that term.
What did you think of the music, Robbie?
Oh, bro, I love the music. We're already jumping to the music. So let me look into this. Michael Hoening and J. Peter Robinson. I didn't really look into what else they had done, but I like it. It's got this kind of like synthy or like organ-based score at times, right? And it provides an ethereal atmosphere. We're dealing with the movie about basically the gate to hell opening up in the backyard of a fucking kid's house, right? And there's no parents, they're left alone. And when you're young and the first time you get left alone for like the overnight or for the weekend, every shadow could be something. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if y'all's parents left you alone in single digits, but that happened to me, right? And so like I would like really kind of freak out and I would just like hole up in my room with a bag of chips watching my movies, you know, and shit like that. But I think the music really helps capture this kind of like feel of the otherworldly nature right there underneath the surface of this kid's imagination in a way, right? And I love the music in this film. I think it's great. It stands out on its own, but there's nothing memorable theme-wise, I would say. Like, so it doesn't have like your Halloween theme or your Tubular Bells from The Exorcist. It doesn't have that kind of an iconic vibe to it, but the music is totally in tone and service of the film's atmosphere, I think.
Hell yeah.
Station Nick.
Hey, what up, Nick? Yeah, dude, the music, that's another big reason why I get the Spielberg vibes is because of the music, you know, it's just fantastical. It gives it that.
Well, one of the guys, my bad, one of the guys here had at one point been a part of Tangerine Dream, which that makes sense now, okay? And I'm looking at the other guy. I'm seeing, what has he done? He's done a lot of kind of... his film stuff is, he did Vampire in Brooklyn. He did New Nightmare, Wayne's World, Encino Man, The Wizard, Blind Fury, Cocktail, The Blob remake from '88, Return of the Living Dead 2, The Wraith, the Police Story movie. Yeah, so the other guy, so it's like a guy that was in Tangerine Dream, and then this guy. So that makes a lot of sense to me.
That was the gaping hole.
Gaping hole now.
He hit a good gaping hole joke before. Two Gun's been killing it with the gaping hole jokes all the entire time.
I love it.
But yeah, man, the music is absolutely great, man. I love it. Fable, what did you think of the music?
Yeah, man, the music is really good. It's scary music. It really is because the movie starts out scary. I mean, they just go right into it. Like he's having that nightmare in the beginning. He's walking in his house. The music
Yeah,
is painting the picture perfectly. You want to see what's around every corner. So it's doing its job. And like Robbie said, there's no major theme that you're gonna remember, right? But it does set the tone. It does make this movie a little scarier than it actually is.
definitely. I always wonder like why it starts off with like the dream sequence type thing, just because they haven't done any of that stuff yet.
I think it's to give you something creepy, like I said, because it doesn't really get creepy until 40 minutes in. It's probably to give you something early on to kind of latch onto.
Yeah, to kind of know what you're getting into, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Bird, what did you think of the music, bro?
Dude, it was one of those things like I'm watching it, and one of those 80s pop song came on. I'm like, oh yeah, fucking music. All right, pay attention. Make sure you know about the music. And then I didn't think about the music until you're like, hey, what'd you think of the music? But honestly, I just didn't notice it. I will say this, though. I wish that there was a little bit, because it's kind of based around like they figure out about these demons through this rock band.
Yeah.
I wish there was some Slayer or some Megadeth or Iron Maiden, or you know what I mean? Like some 80s rock, some death metal in the movie. You know what I mean?
One song when he's like jamming on his bed. You know?
And that's more just like a speech kind of a thing, you know what I mean? Which is cool. I dig that too, Fable. You said I like that scene a lot. I like Terry. Like I dig that scene with him in the blanket sitting there. Like I would be doing that. I still do that.
I was like, man, that's so cool. He's listening to that record. It's all demonic and shit. I'm like, damn, this kid is cool.
He's got the biggest arc too out of everyone, because it's like his mom has died and he's going through it, and his Stephen Dorff's father kind of touches on that.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he goes home, his house is like a wreck and it's just a pigsty, and it looks like his dad hasn't been home in weeks, maybe, and his dad ever since, maybe, I don't know, they don't really say if maybe his dad started going on work trips after the mom died, or if he just was always kind of gone out of work, like they always had those where like the dad's not around because he's always working 24/7, and then usually the mom would have been home, but in this situation his mom had passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think they give him the biggest arc, and that's why like he's more like the kind of, not, I want to say like outlaw, but he's kind of like the little bad boy,
and he's left on his own, right? Like that's the whole thing. So he finds his enjoyment, because he's such an isolated, lonely kid, in his music, his comics, his movies, shit like that. Not that I would know anything about that from being a kid and growing up in the 80s.
Steph, my brother, what did you think of the music, boss?
I didn't pay too much attention to it, I'm going to be honest.
Hey, no worries, man. No, I appreciate the honesty.
You couldn't kayfabe something? Just be like, oh man, it was good, atmospheric.
It fit the movie so well.
I appreciate the honesty.
It was so good. It was so good.
Steph playing the role of Brooks tonight.
I love it though. Atmospheric. That would pretty much cover anything, anytime. Yeah, man, it was very atmospheric.
That's usually what I go with.
Yeah. Let's go with the buzzword.
Steph, here, I'll start you off with a better question. What did you think about like the cinematography and the atmosphere of the movie?
The atmosphere.
I'd say it was atmospheric.
I felt like it was super atmospheric. Everything, the setting, really well done. It was fun.
Hell yeah, man. Vern, my brother, what did you think?
As far as cinematography goes, I think that's part of the thing that kind of makes it feel Disney to me. And I'm curious if you guys would disagree, but I mean, the look of the film relies on the practical effects, some of the lighting, stuff like that. I didn't notice any like overly impressive camera movement or anything that I would like stand out as like, oh, this director knows his way around a camera, to me personally. But the atmosphere was certainly atmospheric. There's no doubt about that. I mean, it had a creepy vibe and it had a nice pace. Once it got going, it was bam, 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 pause. Oh, okay, shit, let's get it together. Maybe it's over. Nope, it's not. Bam, bam, bam. Okay, it's fucking over. So,
Interesting.
well, yeah, I'm curious. Yeah, when we get to you, what do you guys think about the cinematography?
So atmospheric.
Total.
we got a new bit.
Yeah, we do. It's been a long time coming, though.
Fable, my man, what did you think?
Yeah, I probably side with what Berno said. You know, it doesn't have the best cinematography. It really doesn't. It's really standard stuff. It's not going overboard with any crazy camera shots or trying to invent anything. But when the stuff does pop off, they do enough to service that. You know, like the shot where that big creature at the end comes out and he's petting the kid and he's breathing, like the breathing that he does. And this sound, this grumble that comes out. I mean, there was something there, you know? And that happens throughout this movie in bits and pieces. But for the most part, it's just standard, you know, as far as structure and style.
Yeah, I agree. There's some cool colors and stuff, you know, like with some when all the stuff is going on, but there's no crazy like, you know, artistic shots or anything. You know, it's standard, but they have some cool, you know, colors and backgrounds and stuff, you know, when everything's going down. Robbie.
Yeah, I was gonna say I kind of disagree just a little bit, like, because I think there's some really good camera movement in the movie that a movie of this budget typically wouldn't have. I mean, we're putting a dude up on a crane, following kids down the stairs, and they're showing. I think the camera, like, I think go back and watch it. I think the camera movement is pretty good. Plus, a lot of those effects are in-camera effects, like that forced perspective stuff. That is like 100% cinematography,
Right?
Like figuring out how to make it look right. And tie it all together. That's done in one shot. Like when the little dudes are running around with the kids right next to them, that's in one shot. Like that's part of it to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Dylan said, there is some great lighting in the movie, right? Like with the colors and different gels they're using, but providing that atmosphere with the smoke and all that shit coming through, but the colors shining through. I think it's got really good lighting and really good camera movement. Yeah, it's not Martin Scorsese, it's not Stanley Kubrick. They're not reinventing the wheel or anything like that. But for what it is, for its modest budget being a Canadian film, I think it's rather ambitious.
I was going to say, I think the dream sequence at the beginning, as I'm like thinking about it, that has some of the better cinematography. There's when he's going up into the treehouse and the camera's moving, and it's like I don't know why I noticed like it's really red. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but that whole dream is colored in red, which is just it stands out to
me.
And
I think that's
both
one
times
of the
I started it.
Yeah, those warm colors are representing this movie's filmed with like kind of cool colors, and the warm colors are representing the invasion coming through. As far as the directing goes, that's not superb, I would say. But let's look at this dude's film career. Okay, so he did The Gate, then he did I, Madman, then he did The Gate 2, then he did some TV work, including the Outer Limits episodes from the 95 series. He did, this is my favorite bit. He did 2 episodes of Red Shoe Diaries. So probably the work outside of The Gate I'm most familiar with.
Yeah, that would make sense.
David Duchovny, man. I mean, I was a mark for Mulder back in the... Hey, shit, I got a Mulder right here. Red Shoe Diaries, starring Fox Mulder.
That's awesome.
Came from Bueller, actually. Anyway.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I totally got to look at... He did Double Dare and Borders of Salt. So he did 2 episodes of Red Shoe Diaries 2 years apart. So that shit went way longer than I thought. And last I saw it was on Tubi or some shit. So we should do a review of this guy's episodes of Red Shoe Diary. Maybe I'll do that for Rock and Robbie Live tomorrow night. You never know what's going to happen. Dylan, please just move on to another bit, man. I've lost it. I don't know what I'm doing.
What do you want to go to next?
It's Dylan's horror show, man.
I know,
but we haven't talked about anybody's favorite character. There's a lot of characters in this movie, not a lot of good ones to choose from. I would
definitely talk about one you hate, and I think we'd all agree on the one. But definitely, man, the creatures are like my favorite straight up. I feel like we're all gonna really have the same. Usually I would say Steven Dorff, but I love, his best friend. He's probably the one that I kind of.
Raise your hand if Terry's your favorite character in this. Yeah.
Totally.
All right. Yeah. The three of us. Yeah.
Yeah. I love Steven Dorff, obviously, it's just, Terry just has more of like an arc, I feel like. So, I wish that they got a little more deeper with, Steven Dorff's character, but it's really like his parents just went out of town and, house gets destroyed,
Yeah,
and
he plays the straight guy role.
Yeah.
Right.
But creatures are just freaking fantastic.
One thing we haven't mentioned yet that I saw mentioned in the chat is how ridiculous it is at this fucking party. They literally levitate this fucking kid and nobody thinks that's a big deal.
Right. Yeah. The next day he's like, we've got to tell mom and dad I've been levitated. And his buddy, or not his buddy, the guy that's hitting on the sister, he's like, oh, come on. It's like, dude, that was crazy.
An illusion.
I would never shut up about that the rest of my life. What do you
If I'm one of those, there was like 4 people under him, right? Lifting him up or some shit.
Only 2 because he was a midget.
Yeah. He was floating high as hell. Hit the damn ceiling.
Their words, not mine.
Yeah, there's some choice words in this one, man.
Yeah,
and then the next day the damn dog.
I'll tell you what, I laughed both times I watched it when he calls him that word and then he walks out of the room. So great. Sorry,
but you know what it's like in 1987 for a fucking 10-year-old to fucking tell that shit to a 16-year-old. He's like,
it's funny.
I love when they use it as a verb. That's my favorite bit of it. Oh, they're just blanking off. And I was like, I've never heard that.
I love when Steven Dorff and like that girl with the hair like this are just getting into it.
Yeah, she's got the something about Mary treatment going on, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
And then that's exactly what I think too. Mm-hmm. With the cum gel, when they're like coming with the shit all over their face, and he's like, I think it's an improvement.
That's one of my favorite bits is just the relationship between the Steven Dorff character and his sister's friends, because that's how it is. Like you know what I mean? I remember having those relationships with my sister's friends or my brother's friends or whatever. They kind of nailed all the dynamics there.
They did. They definitely did. That's some of the, the fun stuff they got going on it,
Plus, my sister's dressed like that in the 80s.
Yeah.
Early 90s. Just ridiculous.
And then the sister just never backs the brother up. I'd be like, shut the fuck up,
Yeah, cool party, by the way. They're just telling each other fucking ghost stories.
Yeah.
I'd kill to go to a party like that.
Really?
I love the girl that she's first of all, the guy is like, that's not true. The one girl pops up, I believe him. It's like
that shit happened though. I remember being at like sleepovers and like parties and shit like that, right? That would like they would devolve into that shit, like doing the fucking stiff as a board, light as a feather, all that kind of weird shit, right? So yeah, I mean, I can kind of get it, but literally, if we did that shit and somebody floated up to the ceiling, like I'm like, Satan's in this house. Then it becomes Poltergeist Act fucking 3. You know what I'm saying? But no, that's not where they went with this one. Nobody believes them. They get away scot-free, and then the kids got to fucking deal with it.
Yeah, that is odd. They just ignore it.
Is there what? So Steph and Fable said Terry wasn't their favorite. So I want to know what Steph. He's just sitting there chilling, drinking his coffee. I want to know.
With his kick-ass mug.
Yeah, no
I
shit.
The sisters' friends, actually, because they sounded so authentic as teenagers. Like, it's how teenagers talk to each other, you know. Like, it. I was kind of taken aback when I first heard like what they're in here and around and stuff like that. But I was like, it's how kids talk to each other. Like in reality, like. So probably the sisters' friends because the line was just authentic.
It was authentic. And coming off of watching Weird Science earlier this week, right, Fable? Like you're just like, oh damn, man, that word was used way too much back in those days, man.
I used it a lot.
Yeah.
What word?
The F word, man.
Oh yeah.
Not fuck, but the other.
Yeah, I know, because it's banned now. They say that word
for good reason, I think. I mean, honestly, but like it was a very common term used in those
but
days.
It was not used like in the way that people like make it out to be. Like most of the time it was just like fucking like kind of just nagging on your buddy or something. Like nobody was like,
yeah, we got better words for that shit now.
But then there were people that would, use it in the bad way, and they ruined it for us,
My favorite word for all that stuff is douche, by the way. I just think douche is the best word to use. So they're basically they're sitting there douching around.
Some women might not like you using that word douche.
Yeah, I get it, man. But
fuck those women.
Until that day.
Right.
I don't know what I missed, but I like what I came back to. Dude, I'll tell you, you want to know why that word, what my theory, if we're talking about the word that they use twice that we're all avoiding saying because we don't want to be Joe Rogan, probably the right thing to do.
I don't think he'll even say it nowadays. I won't say that word, no.
Well, I understand. Like 5 years ago, I would have just been like, no, we're talking about the other F word.
Yeah.
But the reason why the F word is so successful for a word is because it starts with that you could fucking lay into it. You know what I mean? Like if you call someone a fucking, you know what I mean? Like you could, that's part of what made that so successful as a thing to say. You know what I mean?
You're right too, because in this movie, its placement instead of using the word they're fucking around or whatever, right? Made it acceptable for a PG-13 rating in 1987.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? And that's kind of, it shows, it's interesting. Film is any film of any culture is an interesting study of that culture at the time. Right.
Oh,
and
totally.
so like you could look at it one way and be like, oh, we should ban all that shit. But the other way I think is it's progression. Right. So like you watch it. The important thing is that we all cringed when that shit happened this time. Right. You know what I'm saying? We understand the context of it, but we also understand the context of where we are today.
Right.
And the growth that we see. I mean, I just came through all those James Bond movies. Talk about wanting to see the role of like sexism and racism in American culture. Just watch the James fucking Bond movies, and you'll just see it kind of like it's progression. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of cringeworthy moments in some of these old movies, man.
Right. I mean, I'm even talking like it phonetically, like the two words. Yeah. If you stub your toe, you're not gonna say bitch. It's because bitch, you can't lay into bitch. You can lay into shit. Fuck. you know what I mean? Like that. You can stretch those out. That's my theory on why they're the most successful of all the cuss words. Fuck.
Fuck's the best, man. I'm sorry. Yeah, and it's versatile. It's like Bernie Mac said in Kings of Comedy. It can be a noun, a verb, an adjective, an adverb, or whatever the fuck else you need. A proposition, like a preposition. Proposition? That's something way different, Robbie. But that the multiple usage of that word. Fuck is great. That's the one word like
making fuck.
Nobody get.
But that word, that other F word was thrown around pretty easily. Like, because I mean, me and Steph, we just watched The Warriors. And it was used in the way you think it would be used to signify like sissy or unmanly. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like when the guy didn't want to go with the girls. Yeah. He was like, "What are you gone F on me?"
Right. And I don't want to defend it. I'm not defending the usage. I don't use it anymore. I probably did use that word a little longer than I should have until I had someone point out to me like, "Hey, you should really fucking quit saying that."
I mean,
You know
even
what
in
I
the
mean?
early 2000s,
Right, it wasn't long ago.
It was
But
not that long ago.
I always say when we were kids, like it wasn't about homosexuality. It was
No.
about someone being a douchebag. Like you
Yeah.
said, like douchebag has replaced the way that we would use it 89% of the time. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's no bueno.
Did you
That's what
expect?
I'm saying.
Did you expect this conversation, Dylan, tonight?
No.
I did expect it.
Speaking of like not,
I
being
somehow
able-
skirted around it on PCP movie night, but we get
Yeah,
into it. on
we get
Dylan's
introspective on Dylan's horror show.
Yeah. Dude,
I'm like, fuck, it's not my channel. Fuck
speaking
it,
of
let's
like,
talk about it.
like not being able to like use that word in this like generation now, or in this day and age, there was a show, and I don't even want to say it because like I fucking love it, man, and I don't want it. Like I haven't heard anyone talk about it, but there was a show recently, and I heard them use that word, and I like had to go back, and I'm like, did they just fucking say that? Like I could not believe it.
I don't know if y'all
I'll
remember
tell
this,
y'all
but
backstage about it, but
the first issue of Paper Girls uses that word.
yeah,
And like people were trying to come after Brian K. Vaughan for that. And he was like, it's the 80s.
Yeah.
Like it's the 80s.
right.
And I think he would rethink it now, but we're in a different culture now.
Well, he
Right?
says
he'd rethink it because they
Right.
probably fucking teared him a new ass over it.
in Why the Last Man, he's calling people retarded multiple times in that.
That's
But
another word used
this
a
one
lot
too.
in this movie. Yeah.
In this
Right.
movie, yeah.
I don't think I
This is-
officially quit using that word until like just like 6 or 7 years ago, guys. To be
No,
honest with you,
no,
man, I'm not
Not
trying
even
to.
less for me.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
man,
I
I'm
still use it
sick
every
of the
once
whole
in a
thing.
while.
I was
Right,
that guy that
no.
was like,
I'm
"Why did
really
Black
pissed
Eyed
off.
Peas change their fucking song? I don't understand." But you know, I get it now. I understand. I'm okay with the evolution of language,
Right.
I never am one of those guys who's like, man, I can't say that word anymore. You know, so like I get it, you know, because
Yeah.
I got plenty of friends on all sides of the circles. And
Right.
hell yeah, man. I'm glad for the progression of what we call the PCP revolution, my friend. Always improving every day, getting better. Sometimes that means exercising certain words because they have certain connotations and certain flags and shit like that, you know, and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Whatever. I've had too many beers to be having this discussion right now, man. I'm like treading so close. I'm like, what should I say?
Not on my show. Don't get me canceled. Just like fucking, you're gonna fucking. There's just someone like literally in the chat, just like from like in the TCM movie, where they're just like, "Go ahead, dudes. Come on, guys, say it. I'm just waiting to cancel y'all. I'm just waiting.
Think it, bro, and you're canceled.
You want them 900 subs to be gone? They'll be gone by tomorrow, motherfucker."
I like
Damn.
Herm saying, "Damn, Bruno, you might get canceled for using that word years ago." And it's funny, he's got an LOL at the end of it. But there's a celebrity, I can't think of who it was, who came out and said that she used to use some word. You know what I mean? She's glad she doesn't anymore. And people were like, well, fuck, you should have never used, like, they tried to cancel her for saying she used to say something.
Wow.
Now, luckily,
Right.
I'm not a celebrity, so I think I'll slide.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not like, man, that's just a weird conversation to have during the gate
Yeah.
review.
Sorry.
But like, it's like it's not an excuse. It's just an understanding of the context of any given time.
Mhm.
Right. And so like, well,
Right.
I can't enjoy the movie, any movie from the 20s or the 30s or the 40s. I can't enjoy James Bond films. I can't
Right.
I'm not like that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I'm like, appreciate the art for what it is. And part of what it is a reflection of the society that made it in that time.
Right.
Right.
Well, I
Right.
think that's what
and
that's
we
the
can
line
critically
right
think
there.
about it. We can critically discuss it and think about it.
Right.
Right. But yeah, that's the fucking line, man. Like I'm
There's
not.
acknowledging that it's wrong and those words are bad, and then there's this small segment that would be like, pull the gate down off Amazon Prime. You know what I mean? And those people
Right.
are few and far between, honestly. The internet makes it feel like there's more of that, but that's the line. You know what I mean? I'm never gonna be about like, oh, we can't watch James Bond anymore.
Yeah. By the way, I was watching Superman 2 last night, and that same dumbass dipshit fucking Southern sheriff that's in 2 of those Roger Moore movies is in that fucking movie, and I forgot. And it annoyed the fucking shit out of me, man, because I hate when he's in those 2 fucking James Bond movies. Because he's in the one, I don't know if you guys even know what I'm talking about. Fable might. I don't know if Verno's watched a lot of Bond movies. So there's the first Roger Moore movie, Live and Let Die. He's in New Orleans, and there's this dipshit Southern fucking redneck sheriff who winds up getting his whole force in a high-speed chase, and then at the end of it, when he thinks he has his man, he's told, this man's a spy from the British government, you got to let him go. And then in the next movie, Bond's in Thailand, and guess who happens to be on fucking vacation in Thailand? This motherfucker. And now he somehow winds up in the same car as Bond and becomes his partner for the fucking third act. It's the dumbest shit, man. Anyway, he's in Superman 2, playing the exact same fucking character. Anyway. Oh, that's great. Lordy me.
Lordy.
Let's get back to this movie, right?
Dylan? The Gate.
Yeah, because I know we'll probably get to the ratings shortly. What else could we talk about before?
So, my favorite character in this movie.
Yeah, damn, Dylan, come on.
Is Al, the sister. I like
she's
that.
Good.
Because she, she's growing out of the kid stuff, right? She's getting into more adult stuff. She wants to hang out with her girlfriends. She's getting into boys, and her brother don't understand it, right? He don't get it. He's with the girls at icky phase probably with him, and the parents kind of don't trust. I mean, for good reason. She threw a party anyway, right? He told her not to throw any parties, and she threw a party.
I mean, what would you do, Fable?
Yeah, no, for sure. But she's trying to balance all this stuff. A kid brother who's whatever, trying to get responsibility, trying to get the cute boy to notice her, trying to be popular among her friends. And I think she does a pretty good job in this movie. It shows that, hey, when it comes down to it, my brother is more important than any of you.
She's got a lot going on in this movie. You just pointed out to me that I didn't really think about. That's really solid, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I like that she went to the mall or whatever. And that scene really touched me, that she came back with a rocket. She didn't buy any clothes for herself or anything like that. Mm-hmm. That let me know that she's just not a dirtbag sister. Yeah. She cares, but she's in her own world, and you got to respect her. You know what I mean?
She's at that age where, it's not cool to be best friends with your baby brother, and then, but at least, when it comes down to it, she is there for him, and she kind of realizes that her friends are dirtbags,
Right. She's more of the age where it's cool to levitate your baby brother at a party. You know that age.
Hey, they're just mad about the goddamn light bulb.
Yeah.
Like, bro, you literally floated your fucking brother. This is cause for concern. Your brother. This is cause for concern. Everybody writes it off. It's like, well, y'all didn't throw them. I don't know what the fuck dude. Whatever. One time I was with some friends. I was in second grade. I was with some friends at their house. We were doing that. The parents were gone. Kind of having a little party, right? That you do in those kind of days. Lots of Pepsi, lots of frozen pizza, bagel bites may have been involved. Okay. But we're fucking around with the Ouija board, right? And somebody I think is playing with fire in the other room, but all this smoke starts coming out and this fire alarm goes off while we're fucking around with the Ouija board. I ran the fuck back home. I honestly can't tell you how that all wound up. You get what I'm saying, man? I levitate this fucker. I'm out of that shit, man. I had a babysitter try to do that light as a feather stiff with the board shit with me, and it freaked me the fuck out, man. I couldn't handle it. I was way young one time, and I was at an aunt's house. I was flipping through. She had a book on demonology for some fucking reason, right? Probably a result of the 70s, 80s interest in the occult, right? And there were images in that shit. And me being a good Christian boy at that time fucked me up, man. So I think that led into me, the Gate kind of fucking scared me when I was a kid, man. I thought these things were real. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in being a Christian. I thought this shit was real. Demons can come and get me at any moment. Thank God I got the blood of Christ. You know what I'm saying? It was a legitimate concern in my life, man. And this movie really affected that, man. And you got to think about this movie coming off of that satanic panic wave, which Tynan's always talking about in Department of Truth. that's like real shit. You know, they were like, we got to convince people. You guys got to watch this fucking. You can find on YouTube. It's a turmoil in the toy box or some shit like that. But y'all, Fable in particular may remember this, but this like there was this Christian organization that was trying to prove that the toys and shows sold to kids in the 80s were satanic and of the occult, things like Masters of the Universe, even fucking She-Ra, all this kind of stuff. And wow. Like this, it was a real legitimate thing. And so it's crazy to me that this movie was even made and released, but I guess only really reached success later on, right?
Yeah. It seems a lot of decades have that kind of thing going on, right? Like, you know, first 5 years is a breakthrough in this and breakthrough in that and social norms and special, whatever it is. And then the next 5 years is like, no, we must repent. This is terrible. It's destroying society. Then we do it again.
The pendulum of politics and society. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything's reactionary.
There's this whole fucking theory that it's the Sekhmet theory, I think is what it's called. Grant Morrison was the one that brought it to my attention. But the idea that this is the dumb part, but every 11 years, the solar poles flip and it goes from punk to hippie, right? And so what that means is that youth culture in specific, like there are these waves that come about. It's a cyclical nature to it, right? Where it goes from hippie, where there's longer hair, looser clothes, more psychedelic drugs, more like liberal ideas. And then it goes into a punk state, which is more clean cut, tight shaved, tight clothes, speed drugs, and shit like that. And you see that kind of happening throughout culture too, right? So I don't know.
Well,
I'm off of it. Right?
It's because everything, it's the whole, nothing's ever right. Well, these people that what they did, they're not right. We're going to do it like this. So it keeps going back.
Yeah.
We react. Oh, they did that. Now we're going to do this. Oh,
it's the nature of youth culture to rebel.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess that's what it is.
And then the kids that are rebelling are acting like they're the first ones who did it. And then everybody else is like, oh, no, you're not. You don't know what that is.
Dylan, you might have the deepest show on fucking YouTube. I'm just going to say that.
At least tonight, man. Jesus Christ.
We usually go off topic on some Department of Truth type shit.
The gate is inspirational, man.
Totally.
Yeah. Tinian's been jocking off us this last year. Or Tiny Onion, whatever, making fuck.
Did he just say that? Okay. Thought so.
What do you guys think this movie's trying to say?
It's anti-establishment, right? No, what it is it's capturing a lot of those Spielberg themes, right? It's about the kids being alone. Nobody believes the kid, right? So it's about it's that's why I love this film. I think it's really well done because it's told from the perspective of the kids. Those best movies from those days, your Gremlins, your Poltergeist, your Goonies, all that kind of shit. Your Monster Squad. Nobody believes the fucking kids,
Lost
right?
Boys.
And Lost Boys, and we talk about that with the John Hughes stuff. We mentioned that in Weird Science. Like, it really explores this idea that we have while we're young, that nobody's paying attention to us. Like, I understand that you're telling me that you've already been through this and this is how it is, but I don't understand that. I don't have the experience. All I know is that you don't trust me. You don't believe me. And it, once again, like those movies like Lost Boys and shit, point to the dangers of not paying attention to what's happening in the zeitgeist of the youth, right? Because that's something you need to pay attention to, because old people got bad ideas. Young people got bad ideas too, but it's there's some kind of thing that can work together. So maybe that's kind of stretching, but that's what it is to me. It's your typical 80s kid idea of being a kid, being ignored. Nobody believes you, but it doesn't matter. Even if they don't believe you, you got to be true to yourself and do what you think is right.
True that.
You know what's funny? We came up with that gaping hole bit last week, and then like we literally reviewed the perfect movie to just
Right.
non-stop talk about gaping holes.
I'd say I don't know if it's like thematic but whatever. Like the thing that stands out to me, and I kind of already mentioned what was well done, is just the relationships. It's about friendship. Like the scene that really was like sent that home for me is after it's all said and done, they pull Terry out. They've got Terry, and then they all hug each other, and they all like take turns hugging each other, and like just like Fable, you touched on it, like the sister's arc and where she goes by the end of it, realizing that pretty much family is what's important, friendship's what's important. So it makes sense for a movie directed towards kids. It's about family and it's about friendship. You know what I mean?
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Steph, my brother, I know it's been crazy for you. What do you think it's trying to say, my bro?
Fill in those holes.
Hey,
I like that.
Spot on, man.
a man, a few words, but hits it right on the goddamn nail.
Fill in those holes.
Oh man,
Become bigger.
did I skip anyone? Fable, did you go?
No.
What do you think it's trying to say, my brother?
I think it's about innocence. You know, I think that everybody, everybody's on their own game. Like the sister's growing up, the friend is going through a loss of a parent. The parents are always away. This kid just wants to fly rockets. You know, that's all he wants to do. And everybody's kind of like, grow up.
Yeah.
And what wins the day? Him flying the rocket. Pure love,
That's
pure
good shit.
light, right? That's what they
Pure
said that the
joy
rocket
as soon as
represents.
that sucker goes up in the air.
Yeah, something like that. It was like pure light or pure love, something that was the reference in how to get rid of this thing. And his innocence, his love of rockets is what killed this monster. And then at the end, when the monster dies, you see these fireworks. So I think it's just about innocence.
Yeah, 100%. We
I like that.
last night I had a really good discussion about the manga Akira, right? And it drops on Monday morning, but
I was gonna say, what the fuck? Did I miss it?
no.
I
Well,
know,
one
I
of the
was
things
gonna
that
say.
one of the things that we talked about as themes were the youth culture aspect of that story, right? And how growing up feels isolating to pretty much everybody, right? Now everybody thinks that their isolation is unique, right? Just like you think when you grow up, like, oh, we've been through this before, but like it's about connection in an isolating age, which is a line stolen from Rent. But still, like a lot of themes when it deals with youth in movies, I think that's very strong. You know, filling in that hole. How do you fill in that hole of isolation? It's with connection. It's with love. It's with understanding what's going on. We all hit the nail on the head. So I want to know what Dylan has, because I know you got something different. A whole new way of looking at this movie, a different perspective.
Let me see.
Don't listen to your records backwards.
Yeah.
Actually, what's crazy is the heavy metal music gave him the tools he needed to fight the demons off, right?
Yeah. And the Bible. And then when that's destroyed, they go
Yeah.
to the Bible. Which,
that was hilarious too.
Yeah.
It's like the Bible. It's like,
Just read it. Anything.
Anything.
I love the girls like, we went to Bible school. We're gonna find it.
And they're
I
like,
wish they
yeah,
would just.
this one.
I just wish he would have opened up the Second Chronicles and it's just a list of fucking genealogies, and he's just
Right.
like, and King Ahab begot Jacob, who begat Jehoshaphat, who begat, and the demons, whoa, not Jehoshaphat.
It just came to me. I was gonna say maybe it's about like banishing your demons, but I don't know if that makes too sense, because it makes more sense with like Terry and all the stuff he's got going on with his mom, and because like because one thing we didn't really mention, I meant to mention it, but like the creatures kind of like shape shift, and it almost seems like they're hallucinating or something, but I think it's just they're shape shifting into like their loved ones, and that's like the first thing you see is that the creatures are I don't know if that was the creature shape shifting or if it was them like messing with their head, because the first thing Terry sees once they've opened the gate is he sees his mom. You know,
I was watching I can't remember the dude's name, but he is like Brandon's Cult Movies or something like that on YouTube, and he's like, too bad Terry's first wet dreams about his mom.
Yeah, that is weird.
Back to porn.
You know what I think about all that? I think they just put a bunch of things they thought looked scary and just put it together and didn't really care about the lore as much, you know? Like, I don't think they planned it out like, okay, these demons come from here and this and that. They were like, you know what's cool? Backwards lyrics. You know what's cool? Crazy writing. You know, levitation. You know, this weird meteorite with crystals in it. Isn't that scary?
It's a
Didn't
geode.
Creepshow. Yeah.
This dude was excited, like he found a rare Pokemon or some shit, man.
Yeah, you know, like it's just I think it was just a collection of cool things and but it worked. You know, it worked.
Especially because they were always associating like the devil with rock and roll, and then they basically say that this rock album like it shows you how to either extinguish these demons or like open the floodgates. You know what I mean?
Rock
So
and
I
roll
thought
saved
that was interesting. Because that you guys, obviously that was a huge thing where they were always acting like, you know, you turn the record backwards and it would have a message from Satan or whatever, and that
like
just
in
rock
Little
and roll
Nicky
was purely like the devil's music. So
like in Little Nicky, where they're like Chicago kicks ass.
yeah.
But you're right, it's about overcoming demons too, especially when you're a kid, right? And like learning to be yourself. Like both of these kids are kind of, you know, on their own. Terry's going through a really tough time, and he's the one that has to kind of be the exorcist, right? Towards the end, right? But then Stephen Dorff's character, though, notice none of us mentioned him. He's just kind of there, and
right.
I don't know, he's all right.
That's how it is a lot of time with like the main characters. Just everybody's like I said, he's the straight man or the straight kid or whatever.
Yeah.
They're never as interesting. But he did a really good job in the role, just being a believable young kid in that situation.
Yeah.
But
he's
Jerry Seinfeld in the Seinfeld show.
Yeah,
he's just semi-normal, and everyone around him is weird as shit.
Well, and he whines a lot, like Jerry did too. So.
Right. What's the deal with this fucking gaping hole?
And honestly, the only reason
it looks different in different light. I just can't deal with that.
And the only reason we talk about him is because of what we know him from and what he went on. Because honestly, to us, you know, he's Deacon Frost. You know what I'm saying? But to some people, they'd be like, Stephen Dorff's not the biggest actor. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not known
from the gate.
Yeah, like, you know, he's not known for that much crazy stuff. He has a good, you know, filmography to me, but it's not like he's done anything, you know, award winning or, you know what I'm saying? He's just, you know,
he's in Public Enemies. I forgot about that. He's in Public Enemies, the Michael Mann film with the Johnny Depp. Yeah, about the gangster.
Oh,
Dillinger. Yeah,
I love that movie. Who's he playing that?
I forgot he is in that movie.
Maybe
you're right.
He's
in Leatherface.
He might be one of the cops in that. I would.
Bruno, have you seen Blade?
Yeah. Yeah, but I didn't know it was the same guy.
Well, you got to rewatch Blade now, bro.
Right. Well, I mean, no, I mean,
think of the gate. I've
been looking at it. I've been looking through. Yeah, I see the resemblance, but the whole time I'm watching, I'm like, "Fuck, this kid looks familiar." But I think it's because he looks like, and I'm losing his name now too. But he looks like the kid from the Goonies. Does he not?
With like Sean Astin?
Yeah, is that his name?
At that time, I think pictures of me from the 80s look like that too. So like, I think that's just the look of 80s kids. That stupid fucking haircut with the bangs and all that kind of shit.
Shooting
strawberry blonde hair.
Not to distract too much, but did you guys have those rockets? Did you guys fuck with those when you were a kid? Because we
Not
did.
one like that. We
didn't have the giant one, but we had that one, like the one that they shoot off at the beginning. My brother was way into those. Like we would light those off. I don't know if that's how they roll in Brooklyn, Fable, or wherever cool place you're from. But out here in the sticks, we blow rockets off.
It's illegal in my city.
Yeah,
I bet it's illegal in Brooklyn.
Yeah. Back in the days, they used to sell like M80s. Yeah, I don't know if you ever had M80s or at least
you put them in people's mailboxes.
Fucking asshole neighbor lights them off all summer long, dude.
those M80s. We used to go crazy with those things, but they banned those real quick.
Probably smart.
Yeah.
Says he plays Homer Van Meter in Public Enemies. I don't know who that is though.
Dylan's still trying to figure out this bit from like 5 minutes ago.
No,
He's in World Trade Center. I never saw that movie. That's the Oliver Stone one. I never saw that one, but he's in that one too with Nicolas Cage. I don't know.
Oh no, Christian Bale. He's the main detective in that shit. I don't know. Maybe he was one of the gangbangers in that. Fucking knows.
He's one of it. He's a fellow bank robber. Just looked it up.
Is it?
Station Manny. Station Jerome.
Oh yeah.
Station Steve Clifton. Throw those out there. Billy Power Max.
Yeah, man.
You wanna get to the ratings, man?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can do a little horror news and some show and tell before we dip up out of here. Anyone in the chat, if you guys were able to catch The Gate or if you've seen it before, and from what you remember, if you weren't able to catch it, throw your rating down in the chat below. Steph, my brother, what do you want to give this tonight?
I'm gonna give this one a 3.5. It yeah, great atmosphere. You know, for a PG-13 horror movie, it's very atmospheric. The atmosphere was on point. But, you know, it suffered from pacing issues at the beginning. The main character wasn't, you know, like we said, he was very bland, just kind of there. They could have done something to strengthen that up. And I wouldn't mind seeing some kills, you know, some kids maybe dying off screen. But it was fun. I look at like a primer for like kids or teenagers trying to get into horror. Like that's something you kind of want to show to them and see if they can handle that, and then they can dive off from there, you know. But I give it, I think 3.5. It was still very fun, very enjoyable. Did a lot of things right. So.
Heck yeah, man. I couldn't agree more. And I am bummed that you guys have like figured out my atmospheric word, because I've been using that for a while to get out of shit, and you guys have never said nothing, and now I can't use it. Now I'm screwed. When we go to the music that I wasn't maybe paying attention to as much as I should have, and I go, it's real atmospheric, you know. Go back on some of the videos and you guys will hear that is like all I ever say about the music every fucking time.
Yeah, once we got on him about phenomenal, he switched to atmospheric.
Yeah.
It's got phenomenal atmospheric quality.
It was phenomenal. It was atmospherically phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? Combine them suckers, you know? And we got us a zinger. Vern, my brother, what do you want to give us tonight?
I'm gonna roll with my man Stephanopoulos, and I'm gonna give it a 3.5er. And I like what you said earlier, Dylan. Like it depends on the mood that you're in, but like I could watch this movie. I think like when I was first watching this movie, I was like, "Fuck, this movie kind of sucks." But then, like, luckily, I watched it again, and I liked it a lot more. I kind of got a lot of it, and we touched on it earlier. If you grew up with this movie, you're gonna like it more. Like if I just threw Goonies on for the first time and watched it, and if I'd never seen it, I wonder what I would think of fucking Goonies or any of those movies or Lost Boys or whatever. So me not having grown up with it, I think 3.5 is a fair score. I definitely did enjoy it. Is it a movie I'll pop back on often? Probably not, to be honest with you, but I'll watch Goonies again. You know what I mean? Like, because I did grow up with that, but I liked it for what it was. I'm glad I watched it for sure. And 3.5.69.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it's one I watch every couple years, if that, you know what I mean? It's not one I go to all the time, but it brings back fond memories. But yeah, man, that's because I've noticed you've said a couple times, you're like, You know, I was put it on before bed and I kind of like wasn't feeling it. I just passed out, you know. And then like the next day, I feel like you'll hear me like maybe Robbie was like saying in his the wrap up video, he might talk about how much he's like, I'm really excited to talk about this or something, or you know, he'll just mention it and then you'll kind of get more in the zone to watch it. And then you'll be like, oh, this is fucking awesome. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I feel like the state of mind is definitely a big part of it.
Totally.
Because there's just times you're just not feeling, you know, it's like you don't always want to throw on a horror movie. You know, sometimes you just want to throw on a comedy and just laugh your fucking ass off.
It's like, I think what you're hitting on is like expectations. I went into it not knowing it was aimed at kids. And I was like, the fucking gate, here we go, Dylan's horror show, and I got the theme music in my head. Yeah. I'm ready for something crazy. I was like, oh, here, what the fuck is going on? You know what I mean? Like, it didn't hit the way I wanted. And kind of what Steph said, like some kills off camera. Like, I wish it was a little further. I wish it wasn't aimed for kids. I wish it was aimed for me. You know what I mean? But it's not. So that's what is what it is.
Just wait till next week,
Verno.
Yeah, next week.
Yeah, just wait till next week, Verno, and you're gonna be like, I wish they would have toned this down a little bit.
Oh God.
Yeah, bro. Two Gun was just telling, because Two Gun is a big reason why we're doing the entity, and dude, he's like, it's fucking nuts, bro. He's like, I watched it a couple times already this week.
Oh yeah,
nice.
Yeah, so I'm super hyped to watch it, and it's actually my first. I know I've seen bits and pieces, but I don't think I've ever seen the whole movie. I'm like 90% sure I've never seen the whole movie.
It's disturbing, man.
So I'm really excited. It's the first time watch for me.
It's been since my early 20s, and that was the first time I watched it. But this is not made for kids. Anyway,
no.
But yeah, man. And I agree though at times, because I feel like, you know, dude, there's nudity in Critters, and that's PG-13. I feel like they could have got away with a little bit more. Where in ways I almost could see this being PG in '87. You know what I mean? Like I know totally. it does hit some of those scary boundaries, but I feel like just because of the era that this came out in, and that like they really could stretch it with PG-13. Like they could like today this is PG-13, but back then I feel like this was PG. That's just my opinion.
Well, I think nowadays it would be G.
Right. Well, that's kind of where I was thinking.
This is a Pixar movie today, bro. What are you talking about?
I think it has to do with the region too. Maybe Canada wasn't as indulgent as we were when we make movies. You know, they're a little safer. Right. They're great at, you know, storytelling like we are, but you know, maybe they were a little more reserved at that time. Like, you know, they put some cool special effects.
Yeah, they cut the hell out of My Bloody Valentine. You know, that's a Canadian horror film from the 80s. So yeah.
Blame Canada.
Hey, well, what do you want to give this tonight, my man?
I think I'm gonna roll with Brother Steph and Brother Verno, 3.5. Slips. I was gonna say 3 because to me this is a 3. This movie's just fine, right? It's just fine. It's entertaining. It's okay. Nostalgia does bump it up a little bit for me. It is something that I remember fondly, and I think those creature effects have stuck with me throughout my life. So I got to give it a bump up for that. So 3.5.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Robbie, my man, what are we thinking?
Well, I was all set to give this one a 3.5 after my rating, and then after my viewing, and then I thought, well, I gave Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022 a 3.5. Then I was like, surely this is better than that one, right? And then I started thinking about it. I was like, no, I'm safe with that. Like 3.5, that's enjoyable to me. I can watch. It's not going to be an every year watch. It's not going to be annual watch, but I'm glad I have this Blu-ray. If in case you're not aware, the freaking Vestron video series here, the restoration is fucking amazing on this, bro. Like beautiful. It's really well done. It looks great. I like the movie. I think it's solid. I think it's good. It gets the job done for what it is. You know, it has its issues. It's got this and that, but it really overtakes any issues it has through story or structure or pacing by the amazing visual effects and some really solid atmosphere. in this movie. So 3.5.
Oh, yeah.
Atmospheric atmosphere.
Yo, what up, Air Spider? Long time no see, dude. Yeah, dude, I could not agree more. I'm right there with y'all on this 3.5.
Damn, a
Great.
5 for.
Great
Wow.
practical effects. Great practical effects. It's phenomenally atmospheric. That's a mouthful. I will not be using that all the time. I will not be using that all the time. But yeah, man, it's a fun one. It's not one I'm gonna watch all the time, but you know, it's fun to watch every now and then. It brings back memories, and it's one that it's family friendly too. And it's one to just kind of pop in once in a blue moon and have fun with if you got people over that aren't really big into horror and you kind of want to just like have a little popcorn night or something. I don't know, but it's definitely a fun one, and it's got good vibes, no doubt. So that definitely is an average score of 3.5. But no, actually,
Yeah.
we got a couple ratings down below, and then we'll
I love Jordan's comment right there. It says this is the one that you put on for the new girlfriend's kids and gained rock star status.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I dig that. I dig that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, yes.
Good one, Joe.
Perfect, actually.
2.5 booger demons out of 5 from Steve Clifton. 3.0 from Two Gun. 4 big lugs that slip from Manny. Jerem gave it 4 big sinkholes dug in the backyard. Kids need a flick. Let's see, is there anybody else?
Yeah, it's a great
And
movie for kids.
I think that's it.
If
So
you're
yeah,
cool with
dude,
your
with
kids, watch this
everyone
movie.
else's rating, that's definitely
Nobody,
an average of 3.69, dude.
Dude. Nobody mentioned the zombie in this movie. Did you guys like the zombie that was
Oh
in this
yeah,
movie?
the repairman or whatever.
That's one of my favorite parts, man.
He's
That's
the
one
dude
of my
that fell
favorite
down,
parts.
right? And became the little
Off
dude.
the wall.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, love it.
I liked that just because it was something that Terry just made up. And as I was watching it, I was thinking like, oh, that's like some kind of thematic shit right there, where he's like, we're creating our own fears, and it's like these demons haunt what you know what I mean, what you dream up, kind of a thing. They feed into your own fears.
They could have delved more into that, but I honestly, maybe part of it is that they thought that it would be too heavy for their target.
Mm-hmm.
They are targeting kids, 100%, right?
Well,
like
dude,
they got to be.
I'll just say, like, this show and well, quickly, PCP movie night have like really made me realize like the themes and like what this movie is saying. That's what sets like a 3.5 movie apart from a 4.5 and a 5. If you just add a little bit more thematic content and say something in your movies, that's what makes a great movie out of a good movie.
Yeah. Craft absolutely. Too, but like, yeah.
Absolutely. Right.
Hell yeah. So that concludes the review for The Gate. Next week, March Madness starts, baby, and we'll be kicking it off.
Someone's a smart ass in the chat, man. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say penultimate atmosphere. Is that Manny? That's hilarious. The Gate is an effervescent and complicated story told in a simple, phenomenal way. They're taking all of our comments. Where's the kinetically charged atmosphere, though?
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Yeah. And the texture.
Yeah, where's the texture? The grit.
It's boisterous.
The dirt. It's exuberant. It's explosive. How many words do y'all know? Okay, I only know so many. Okay, so does Dylan.
I take all of your words, man. I learn them from you.
But yeah, man. March Madness starts next week, baby. And we're kicking it off. Actually, I'm kicking it off with The Entity, and then Robbie will be following it up on Monday night. So definitely come join us Saturday night to review The Entity. Recommended by my man and longtime viewer and supporter and one of the main homies in our crew, man, Two Gun Pedro, man. I am so excited because one of the movies he recommended to me a couple years ago was Trilogy of Terror, and that one has always stuck with me. The little Zuni fetish doll. So my man has good taste, and I am so excited to check this one out. So yeah. let me see. There might be a little horror news, and if you guys have anything you want to show off for show and tell before we get out of here, while I check what horror news there might be. If you guys want to go grab whatever you guys plan to show. Straight up, man, Batman's coming out this week. I can't fucking wait, dude. I already got my just cannot wait, dude. It's gonna be so awesome. 3 hours long. Hey man, that's got some horror atmosphere, so we're talking about it. It says Disney's new Haunted Mansion movie coming in theaters in early 2023. That should be fun. Love Haunted Mansion. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022 was the second most watched Netflix movie in its debut weekend.
Not surprised.
I'm really excited about that though, because the director had spoken about that if he was able to do a sequel, that he would really let loose. So I feel like he was kind of put in a box with this one. And if it does good, maybe Netflix will give him money to do a second one, man. And he said that there was a lot of stuff he was like thinking of, new awesome ideas, like when he was in the cutting room and he was like, man, I wish I could have done this. Man, I wish I could have done that. So I would love to see what he could do, man.
Didn't you say that like they picked it up, like it was changed directors or something last minute?
Yeah. Okay. I forget who was directing it originally, but whoever was directing it, they were in like a week or two of filming, and the studio looked at whatever he was filming, and they literally fired him and cut all the footage and hired.
We talk about Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah, that's why I was like terrified, because I was like, dude, this just does not seem.
It's still
good.
A rush job. Yeah, you know,
yeah, definitely. And you can kind of tell because the way it's kind of put together, it feels a little rushed. And Netflix buying it was another, like, they were like, oh, they didn't feel comfortable getting their money back, putting it in the theaters, which I think is true. I don't think it would have really made any money in the theater, but Netflix, I do think, was the perfect way, you know. And if that's what gives it a sequel, more power to it. You know, I don't give a fuck. I'd love to get a sequel because I did enjoy it. And if the guy, from the articles I read, if this guy is like, you know, doing what he would say and how he left it, where Leatherface has gone home, and he has some really cool ideas, I'd be down to see him really cut loose.
Yeah, and what if Bill Moseley came back as Chop Top, right?
I'd love it.
I mean, come on, bro.
I'd love it. I would fucking love it.
One thing that this movie has done is it has divided the horror community in such a way that has really started making it reflect on itself. Are we too hard on these movies? What do we expect? This and that, things like that. Stuff we hear in the comic community all the time, right? But it's interesting to see, like, what are we expecting? Because some people are expecting, like, are you expecting Texas Chainsaw Massacre to be an A24 film? Right. You know what I'm saying? Are you expecting it to, like, what are you wanting out of this? Like, and understanding some of the nuance there and layers. And I think it's always good when you get something that makes people disagree. We can have a conversation about it and not be fucking pissed over it.
That's what gets people talking.
I'm glad we're on this because I've been thinking about this all week, about something you said, Robbie, where it's like, look back at some of those Friday the 13th movies and, like, you know what I mean? They weren't that good, but we look back on them fondly and we love them now. But those movies are still 2.5 fucking movies, you know what I mean? In my opinion. Look.
Well, you watched our Friday the 13th.
I stand with Brooks. All right, Brooks kept it real the whole time. His ratings were spot on. Y'all's ratings were fucking crazy. Like they've never made a 4 or 4.5.
This is why the backlog has surged in its
currency
value. Yeah.
Oh, what the fuck ever, y'all. I'm sorry. Okay. I still stand by some of my ratings. And here's the thing.
Some of them.
Me and Dylan already talk about this.
Nostalgia plays a factor too.
Well, me and Dylan already talk about this. When we're in Horror Fest, you got to understand there's a 0.5 to a 1 you dig kind of fucking leeway zone, because we're in Horror Fest, man. We're just so excited to be there.
Yeah. I just did it for this movie. I just did it for this one.
Yeah, right.
Well, I went from 3 to 3.5.
Weird science. Weird science. We're all very, very forgiving weird science. I'm gonna be honest with you, okay? It just happens, man.
Yeah, man. It's
I want to go
Halloween
back and
time,
look.
so we're going nuts.
I think the only 4.5 I gave was like part 2, maybe. But
Right.
you know.
Well, that's my
Probably,
point. Is
yeah.
we can love bad movies. You know what I mean? Like you can love some. We all do. We love bad movies, but they're still bad.
Yeah. Sometimes that's why I kind of wish, like this one guy I watch, he'll have like, I forget how he calls it. He'll say like critically, then like basically he's saying like he'll give it a critic rating, then he'll give it kind of like a normal rating, and then he'll kind of give it like a fanboy rating. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's why I kind of wish like sometimes we could do a fanboy rating and then like a critic rating.
Well, maybe what our rating should be the average between the two.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's probably is what we do.
But when it's Horror Fest, you got to understand there's going to be about a 0.5 to a 1 you dig era of margin.
Margin of error.
Margin of error. There you go.
Yeah, because dude, it's Halloween time, and we're just like nostalgia is just like literally like I could grab it. It's just, you know what I'm saying? Like we're just like breathing nostalgia at that time, and we're just like living and breathing horror.
Or the moment,
Halloween.
like if you were in the best mood when you watched a movie, you had the right chemicals running through your heads in the exact right ingredients at the right time, the right phase of the fucking moon. You may give Exorcist 3 of 5 you digs. You never know. Okay? I'm just saying to stick with it until your next viewing.
That was spite.
So the critical would be the backlog, the regular would be the you dig, and the nostalgia is the slip. That's how I see it.
Right.
The last thing I got for news is there was Jamie Lee had posted a goodbye Haddonfield post on Instagram or something. Jamie Lee Curtis is wrapped filming on Halloween Ends, and they've only been filming for like a month. So some people are worried that maybe she gets killed early. I think it's more that she has such maybe a busy schedule that they filmed all her stuff first. And maybe if they need her to come back for maybe some group scenes or something, they're going to just, bring her back for like a week or something and film it all.
Bro, what if they what if they do just kill her in the first 10 minutes thinking that they're going to like surprise everybody, and then you're going to be like, dude, Resurrection did that.
Exactly. Right. They're not going to do that again. I could see her. She's got to be in at least half the movie. I don't see them sending her off that way. Like, why bring her back just to fucking Resurrection?
No, it's got to be a Jamie Lee movie.
Yeah,
for me.
Exactly, because in Halloween Kills, she really was put in the sideline. You know what I mean? Right. So that's why I know a lot of people were like, she's already done filming. You know what I mean? Like, this was everyone singing like this is supposed to be her movie, her last hurrah. Because this is her. She's done after this. So she could die at the end. She could. Some people think that because there was like a leaked leaving Haddonfield sign. So some people think that maybe, that's how it's going to end, is like she finally just is free of everything and leaves Haddonfield. We'll see though. I am so excited for it though, without a doubt. Do you guys anyone? Oh, there's that Curse movie came out in theaters. And I really want to check it out because I hear it's pretty good and really intriguing. Chris Stuckman did a review on it, and he didn't say it was like perfect or amazing, but he's like, I cannot believe this movie got made, because it's like a monster movie set in like set in period piece times. And who else is in it? The guy who was in the Predator remake or whatever. He also played in the Logan movie, the guy with like
Pierce.
I think he had the cybernetic arm. I can't think of his name.
What is this stuff?
Was it Donald Pierce?
I think
the
that
guy
might be it.
Donald
He's
Pierce.
got the blonde hair. You know who I'm saying? He's like the main, with
the Wolverine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to check that out. Yeah. So yeah, show and tell, guys. Anyone got anything?
Oh yeah. I think we all got some.
Yeah, man.
Hell yeah. What do you got? Who wants to go first, Steph?
Yeah, I'll go first. You get it.
I see that dopeness right there. That's so fucking bad.
Yeah.
Not new, but I recently found all the pieces were like in different fucking boxes spread out, and I found all of them. So I've got them The
What
stickers
is
are
it?
kind of fucked up.
What
I
is
was like,
it?
That's the toy. That's
Brand
the Toy
wise.
Biz
this
one.
is the Sentinel. Yeah, the Toy Biz Sentinel. From,
Nice.
Nice.
That thing is so
and
dope. It's one of my
very
favorites. man.
fragile. If I like touch anything, he explodes. So
So open the chest up.
yeah.
Damn, I see you got a comic culture sticker behind that guy in that box.
Oh yeah, oh
I
yeah.
haven't got any swag from Nick. I'm just saying. I'm just fucking saying.
Nick, hook him up.
Nick,
And then I recently his
Oh.
vest was broken,
Nice.
and I found the other part, and I like
What?
super glued it. So presents
Nice.
nice enough, you know.
Hell
I didn't
yeah.
like the green
Oh
ranger.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
Beautiful.
Wow.
It's funny. I'm not even into Power Rangers. I'm like, dude, that looks fucking dope.
Oh, dude, the
I
White
love it.
Ranger is fucking
Yeah.
badass.
Animated Batman figures.
Oh,
This
really?
guy's
yeah.
really fucked up, but
I saw these already.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Two-Face. Hell yeah.
Nice.
I want those, man.
Oh my
Nice.
god, dude.
Are
I
these
want
the old
to do
school
it.
ones? Right?
yeah,
Yeah,
Right.
man.
I feel like I had both those that you just showed off.
I gotta talk to Mike,
yeah.
man.
You're right.
I gotta talk to Mike.
Yes, I had all these.
Oh,
yeah.
I love, dude. I love him, man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I had a Joker. I can't
Wow.
find him right now, but yeah, that's.
That's
I
fire,
found him
dude.
recently, yeah, but I
Oh,
showed
you
off
found
to
those
you guys the other
recently?
day. Yeah, one of my boxes. I was
That's
like,
awesome.
oh
Oh,
shit.
sweet, man. Did you have Batman?
I have not regular Batman, but like fucking.
No, I was saying because you said you just found those recently. So did you ever have Batman? Are
Like-
you saying those were like yours as a kid?
Yeah, these were mine as
That's-
a kid, and
Nice, dude.
Nice.
I don't have anything from when I was a kid. Nothing.
I got lucky.
Nice, dude.
Thank you.
Oops, sorry.
It's dope as shit, man.
I was
Hell
like,
yeah, it is.
Hell yeah. Drop the mic.
Brian, what you got?
I've got this is just it's very random. I just started looking around my room, like, dude, I'm gonna show this off. This is whoa, I'm realizing it's got fucking like dog hair and shit on it. This is it's a one of a kind piece. This was this
nice.
artist
Beautiful.
that what he
Oh,
would
yeah.
do. I don't know. Yeah, you guys see it. What he would do is he would like go like watch a documentary, and he would like, all right, I'm gonna take John Lennon, I'm gonna draw him from here. I'm gonna take Paul from here, and he just made this like dope ass Beatles like unique piece of art. Like I just adore, man.
It's one of those rare pieces where George looks like
That's
the coolest
awesome.
of all of them.
right? Does he not? Yeah, George has never looked cooler, man. I could not agree more. Hope you guys can't see the dog hair on this fucking
No.
thing. I had it sitting in the corner over there. So that was cool, dude. I bought that at a music festival years ago. My girlfriend bought me the frame, my fiance, and then this. A little bit of horror vibes.
Oh,
dude,
beautiful.
For Palpatine.
That is awesome.
in
hell
his
Take
little
it.
chair.
Take it.
Yeah.
Strike.
Yeah. It actually came with I don't think I have it there anymore. It came with Luke's lightsaber. You can see his little feetsies.
Wow.
But yep, that's him. I went absolutely crazy and I didn't grab them because they're so hard. But if you look up there, you can anyway, up there's the fucking Imperial Guards that go with him. I've got two of them flanking him that in my case over there.
So
So
cool.
that's what I got, y'all. That's what I got.
That is sick.
Nice.
Sorry, you're on the bottom, so it's hard to pull you out.
That's what she said. Or
Mhm.
that's what I said.
I knew that was coming. It's Fable. Oh, I thought I heard Fable laughing. There
Yeah,
he
I'm
is. What do we got, my brother?
Just got a few indie books in actually today. So let's see. I got We Promise Utopia. Number
Nice.
Dude, that looks like Big Sean on the cover.
That's hilarious. Now I'm gonna see Big Sean every time I look at this.
Doesn't it though? I swear to God.
I got Out.
Oh, that's a cool
I
cover.
think this is the last issue. Yeah, last issue of Out.
Oh, that's AWA.
Yeah, last issue of Telepass.
Nice.
AWA.
I really liked
And-
issue 1 of that, and I didn't keep up with it.
Yeah, AWA solid, man. I like
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Solid.
Oh, yeah.
AWA is really
Oh.
solid.
Definitely.
And Robbie might like this one. I bought this by mistake, actually. I wanted the cover A, but for some reason I freaking ordered the incentive. And I looked in the bill and it was like $13. I'm like, $13 for what? And then I figured out this wasn't cover A. But I'm happy to have it.
Retailer?
Right.
I'm not even sure, man. I'm just picking up these Star Trek books, laissez-faire, just building them up. Want to read them at one point.
Does it have an RI on the bottom of the thing?
Yeah, I think that's the RI. Yes, the retailer incentive. It's like a 1 in 10 or something.
Yeah.
And then that's like it's like a one shot with some short stories, but a main story by Lansing and Kelly, I think. Something like that. But I got one. I haven't picked it up yet, but
nice.
I will say that when we were doing the pulls for the book, Jay Strick was going. He was reading the book out to me, and he goes, "Star Trek, Klondike. What's going on here?" He didn't even know what the fuck a Klingon was, man.
That's great.
I also got Power Rangers Universe, the Yellow Ranger one. I'm loving these covers. Damn Mora.
What are those? Which universe? What is it, like reprints?
Boom.
I'm not even sure, man. I'm just picking them
like
up. I pick up everything Power Rangers.
TMNT, they would do like reprints for like each turtle.
It's a new story. It's rather confusing. They changed the writer like before it came out, so it's kind of all over the place, man, to be honest with you. I haven't been digging the story. Those covers are dope because each one is themed with a different color of a ranger.
Right.
Nice.
Right. Picked up 2 Moons. I don't know if this is the last issue. Rob, is this the last issue? Because this thing keeps coming out.
I don't know, man. I stopped reading it, so I don't know. It keeps coming out. Maybe it will. I don't know. I hear good things though. I hear really good things about it. Jim likes that one a lot.
Got Gunslinger. Latest issue of Gunslinger.
Yeah, I can dig on that.
I'm wondering where latest is too.
Latest issue of Saga.
Dude, I so badly want to read that, man.
And I picked up Supermassive.
I fucking love Saga.
Yeah. And lastly, I think I showed this off on Robbie's movie review. This little Ravage doll, right? I finally got the guy he goes to. Soundwave.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Oh boy.
glad
Somebody
to have
just
these two
dropped
guys.
their show and tell. Hell yeah, man.
Yeah. And that's the show and tell.
Joram, to answer your question, I don't think I do have any albums, dude. I'm not really an album guy, but I would love to get Sgt. Pepper on vinyl just to have that album. Would be the shit.
Oh, I'm sure it's worth a lot of money. The original print.
Cool
I mean,
cover.
just anything.
Yeah.
Just that's like, I spent so many nights on psychedelic drugs, sitting by myself, listening to Sgt.
Sorry,
Pepper
bro.
back in the day.
I let the dog in. Were you done, Fable? I figured you were. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Solid. I had to run to let the dog out. I knew I would do that to you.
Got some comics.
Oh yeah.
This is Eek. It's a Halloween special that just came out this week. So it's either really early or really late. I'll tell you that. But it had some really cool artwork on the inside. So I just wanted to kind of show that off real quick. It's got some really cool stuff there. Looks neat. It's just like a horror anthology type thing.
Probably what, like Creeps or whatever?
Yeah, something like that. But it's all new and original. But I like the artwork. I dig it. I'm excited to dive into it.
Oh yeah.
See if it's any good. Also, this week and the sleeper hit of the month for me, Heavy Metal Drummer came out. This book is freaking wild. It's about these like alien reptilian beings that send a spore to Earth and take over the population. They dip into the sewage. The rats eat the sewage. The rats get infected. They infect the cats that eat them. They infect the cats' ladies who become prostitutes on the streets and infect all the men. And they become these creatures right here. And now it's up to a heavy metal drummer to save the day. Like, this shit is really bonkers.
I gotta get
Cool,
this.
dude.
Super cool. Like, this book is awesome. I highly recommend it. You know, I've been going and getting the TMNT Ultimate Collections. I picked up Volume 4 today.
Nice.
I think 5 is
Dope.
out now, and 6 is going to come out. But
Are those are hardcovers?
no, they did them in hardcovers. Those are very expensive now, but these are just trade paperbacks. This was only $30 cover price.
They look like hardcovers.
Yeah, right.
It presents in an oversized format all the actual like narrative of the Eastman and Laird TMNT stories.
Nice. I want that shit.
It skips all the stuff because like a lot of people don't know this because I didn't know this until a few months ago. But TMNT, like they had a lot of like fill-in stories. Like they were cool stories, but they're not part of the overall narrative, right? Because they started doing the TV show and the movies and all that kind of shit, right? But these like go straight through the actual narrative of the TMNT.
Skip the deviations. Are they black and white, right?
Yeah, they're all black and white. You can get the first 3 volumes of this in color. They're called TMNT Color Classics. But look at that stuff.
Nice. Yeah, that's what I want.
I mean, Jesus. All right. So then into the horror stuff. There's a couple Blu-rays I picked up. April Fool's Day, Scream Factory Special Edition. Dylan is kicking off March Madness next week with The Entity. Well, we at PCP get to wrap it all up with April Fool's Day. So that's going to be fun to revisit. I also got this finally. Speaking of Vestron, Candyman Day of the Dead.
Candyman.
Nice. Love that slip, man.
I do too. This movie sucks, but I'm happy to have all 3 of the original Candyman movies.
Especially on Blu-ray.
Yeah, and got this today. Very excited for this. Got my NECA American Werewolf in London figure.
Didn't.
Yep.
Damn, dog.
Look at that thing.
The werewolf.
It's huge, man. Look at this.
We need a light on it, dude. It's not showing up well on camera.
I know. You can't really see it. Maybe I'll open it up tomorrow night on Rockin' Robbie Live. But dude,
huge.
It's huge, man. It's dope.
Oh my God, I need that. That box, that cover art is incredible.
Dude, look at that shit. This werewolf's as big as my head, man.
That's awesome.
Dude, I didn't know he was that big, bro.
Bruh.
Like,
I was on the fence because this thing was $40 retail. And I was like, I just don't know, man. I just don't know. And then I did this. Yeah, I'm getting this.
Yeah.
I'm getting it right now. Yeah.
They've never done a werewolf either. I mean, they did the Wolfman, but that's like official, bro. I didn't like. I knew the box. Man. I knew the box was like a weird size like that, but I didn't know he was that fucking big, dude.
It's. I cannot wait to open it. It's gonna be bigger than this fucking Hulk,
dude. Are you gonna open
Bueller
it
sent
on
me
Sunday?
As well. I'm gonna open it tomorrow night,
dude. I can't.
But it will be post credits, so I just want to let everybody know that. So.
Have you seen the Gargoyles NECAs? Those are fucking huge too.
Yeah, we got the Gabriel. Is that the dude's name? The main dude? Or Goliath. We got him in, but they announced the whole wave.
Yeah.
Why am I still big? But yeah, bro.
Oh, my bad. I didn't know
dope.
you had something else.
This is dope. No, that's all I got.
Dude, that is
comparing it to
awesome.
Castle Grayskull. You see?
I haven't gotten any NECAs in a minute, man.
That thing's huge, man.
Dude, that is...
Elvira's coming in any day now, and I'm very excited.
Oh, the NECA?
Oh, yeah, I need that one.
Sweet, dude. Yeah, I just really have 2 things, I believe. I just got these in this week. Just some little horror Blu-rays. Little Scream Factory 4K release of Alligator.
Nice.
Man, I love this growing up, man, and they never gave it like a proper release. I think it might have got a DVD release. It might even been like a ripped DVD, and it was just always like, I remember watching it on YouTube, and it was just so dark, you know, like a lot of scenes are in the sewer and stuff. I love that. I love that fucking artwork, man.
That's cool, dude. Those are 2 nice covers.
Robert Forster plays like a detective in this. I love this movie. Just so much fun, man. I've always been just like growing up, man. Like the monsters that like fight back or something. Like I remember there was like a DVD where it's like had like 4 movies, like 4 monster movies where it's like Anaconda, Jaws, and who was it, Orca and Alligator or something. You know, where just, you know, real life monsters, you know, and these are ones that my mom always would let me watch. Freaking 4K. This thing, I didn't throw the 4K in because I didn't have my 4K Blu-ray player set up at my girl's yet, but she had her PS4 and that plays Blu-rays, which it's still a 4K scan. And it looked incredible, dude. Incredible.
Nice. I'm gonna have to pick that up because now that I know that you have it, Verno, you know that we're gonna do this movie at some point.
Oh, you know it. Yeah, this is a fun one, man. Pretty cool slipcover too.
Did you get part 2?
What do you think's next, baby? Alligator 2, the mutation, which I was a little on the fence the more I started to read into it. And then like I watched the trailer for it and I was like, because then I heard it was a TV movie.
It sounds like it should be a TV movie.
Yeah,
but you don't buy Alligator without the intention of adding Alligator 2.
This might not have ever even got a DVD release. You know, this might have only been on VHS, if even that. You know, so it was definitely one that I was picking up no matter what. Because this one guy who I watch all the time, Christian Anahor, I fucking love him. He's a great guy. Was on his channel once too. He says he loves this movie. He has a real soft spot for it. And it's real fun. So once he said that, I was like, I'll give it a shot, you know. And you can't get one without two, you know.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, no, I haven't opened it yet, but I know there's no slip. It's not a collector's edition, so that's just the regular cover art. One weird thing though, it almost looks like when I look at the cover up close, like you'll have to, if you ever pick this up, you'll have to tell me. It almost looks like the picture on this looks a little distorted, like it's just like blown up a little too big. I don't know. Like if you get it, Robbie, you'll have to tell me. Like when I look close at it, it just looks a little off the picture. I don't know.
Alligator and Alligator 2 are on my wish list. They're just very far down.
Yeah, dude. But man, I love this cover, dude.
That cover is like great.
A painting. I was looking at it, and this is more like a painting, this cover right here.
That reminds me of like the hardcovers that I like to buy, where the hardcover underneath the sleeve is doper than the sleeve.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
I wish. That's like, I was like, that's what I'm like. This is pretty cool. It's not the greatest slip, you know, like new original art that Scream Factory's ever put out. It's from a part of the scene, which is like, it's an iconic part of the movie where he like bursts out of the fucking ground. But dude, this is a really cool release, man. It definitely deserves. I thought it was gonna come in like the box art, like they did for Halloween, the recent Halloween 4Ks, but it's just, you know, the regular slip, which I'm not crazy about this like silver trim on top. I wish they would just get rid of that. But it has the 4K Blu-ray has the theatrical version. Then there's disc 2, which is the Blu-ray. It's just a regular Blu-ray, but it's the theatrical 4K scan from the original negative, and it has all the special features with interview with actress Robin Riker, interview with the director Louis Teague, new interview with the special effects artist, and then disc 3 is a Blu-ray, but it's the television version, which is a 4K scan from an original camera negative with additional footage scanned from an inner positive. So that's really cool, and I think it's like 8 to 10 extra. 8 minutes extra on the television cut. So that's pretty cool, man. I always love when they throw little television cuts in there, because that's probably how I watched it as a kid, you know.
Right.
So yeah, that's my show and tell.
Nice.
Oh, last thing I do actually have, this is just some little random shit. My girlfriend's aunt gave this to me. Just a little, speaking of Jason from earlier, a little Friday the 13th shot glass. Yeah. It's not glass or anything, just a little plastic. But for the horror collection, I thought that was really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that a regular size shot glass or is it fucking big?
Dylan's got tiny hands.
No, I have big hands. It is kind of big, honestly. This would definitely be like a shot and a half if you poured this sucker up all the way.
Right. It looks like it looks like a tiny cup.
Yeah.
I mean, I know this is what a shot glass is, but yeah.
Like one of them little cups you would get in the 80s, like you would just tape it to your wall in the bathroom and refill it, you know, with the little paper cups. It definitely
is more of a Dixie cup, yeah. Rinse your mouth out. It definitely is Dixie cup size.
I miss those, man.
because you know shot glasses kind of like if they do, they kind of like have that like bottom part
Right.
that like is just solid glass. So then like it's not as big as the whole cup, you know.
Yeah, it's not a shot glass. That's a cup.
Anyone going to see the Batman this upcoming week?
My
You
God.
know it, man.
Hell yeah.
Dude, 3 fucking hours, bro. They've like premiered it in London and people are saying it's fucking the best Batman ever. Like that Pattinson will be your new favorite Batman.
They always say that.
Go back. I don't give a fuck, man. Dude, yeah, well, honestly, that's all opinion no matter what. But dude, I know this movie's going to be awesome. And straight up, man, go on to my IG when they showed the fucking test footage and everyone was dogging on him because of Twilight. I said, fuck that shit, bro. He's going to be incredible, bro. And all I saw was test footage and just like music. That music and that test footage, I knew that this shit was going to be sick, bro. And I'm probably hyping myself too much, but bro,
That's
I knew,
awesome,
man, because he's a great actor, man. Just straight up, bro. Like people were just hating on him because of, like, dude, he was young as hell when he did Twilight. You know, he was also in Harry Potter too. People forget that. You know?
Cedric Diggory.
Yeah, that's my boy.
I mean, dude. I mean,
that's
how many bad Batman movies are there really? I mean, there's a couple. You know what I mean? But it's gonna be fucking dope. It's gonna be awesome.
Really one. Batman and Robin. Because I like the Val Kilmer Batman Forever.
Holy rusted metal Batman.
I like Batman Forever, but that's a bad.
I love Batman Forever.
But that's a bad movie.
The villains are what make it bad. Val Kilmer is a good Batman.
I like Batman Forever. I'm just saying. I think it's a.
I like Batman and Robin. I'm just saying. It's been years since I've seen it, but I
too.
loved it growing up, dude.
Oh hell yeah, dude!
Honestly,
I love them all.
I'm a Robin guy.
I love them all.
It's gonna be great, dude. I might do something on the Cerebros on that, dude, because I don't have any plans, but that I know I'm going to watch it, so I might do something.
When are you going to see it? I'm going probably Thursday.
Probably Thursday. I think I'm off next Friday, so I might hit it then, dude. Yeah. Shit, I'll just say now. Anybody wants to do a live stream?
I'm going Friday. I'm going Friday.
Friday.
Yeah, we're going Friday afternoon.
I'm just so scared to get spoiled online, man. Like literally, like my brother.
Oh, Batman wins.
Dude, literally.
Like, what do you mean spoiled?
Like straight up, man. Like my brother got spoiled with Scream. I'm pretty. It was No Way Home.
That you can
Riddler's really Two-Face.
We've probably spoiled that movie for a lot of people when we start mentioning that somebody died in that movie in the middle of streams that have nothing to do with that movie.
Right. Well, a lot of times, man, like my brothers watch YouTube on the TV, and they'll just like open YouTube up, and because of stuff they watch, there will just be like a spoiler for like No Way Home or Scream or something, and it's like then they got spoiled, and it's like that's messed up, man. So that's why I'm like terrified to get spoiled, and especially because we're on YouTube. So I'm like, I could stay off it, obviously. But it's my excuse to go see this shit. You know?
Go see it, man. Build that hype up, man. I'm excited for it too, man. I'm excited to see it.
Dude, they're saying that like Matt Reeves was saying it's almost like a horror movie in ways, like where Batman, I think, is like the fucking horror figure, bro. And I'm excited. I'm telling you what Matt Reeves said, bro.
I'm just saying Christopher Nolan made 3 Batman movies, so it's gonna take a lot to. But I'm really excited for the film.
Matt Reeves is a great director. I'm not saying it's a full-on horror movie. I'm saying it will have like horror atmosphere, like Legend.
Bro, dude, they got Jeffrey Wright as Gordon. I'm super pumped.
That's the one where I'm a little off on. I just don't really care for him as Gordon. He just has like a goofy look to him in it.
I really like him, man. I
do like him too.
Coming off the Bond stuff, he played Felix, and I wish he would have gotten to do more.
Westworld too.
Yeah, and like he's really. I've only seen that first episode of Westworld.
He is a good actor.
He's really good.
I think he'll be good.
I think he's gonna be fantastic.
But doesn't he look a little like his hair and his like mustache? I just feel like he has a goofy look to him. And maybe from seeing Gotham, the TV show, I look at Gordon as like a badass ever since from seeing that show. They are going to do a Gotham series on HBO Max that's like in the like where obviously Jeffrey Wright's going to be in it.
I think he looks haggard. He looks like he's tired. You know, he looks like Gordon. Like it's just a different looking Gordon. Yeah, He looks tired and fucking worn out and
he doesn't look as goofy as the guy that played him in the Tim Burton films. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
Commissioner
that's for
Gordon?
sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
What do you guys think about Andy Serkis as Alfred? Because obviously Matt Reeves and Andy Serkis have a very established connection from the Planet of the Apes movies and everything. So
Andy Serkis is Alfred?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. He's fucking great in anything. But that's a weird stretch, but I'm sure he'll be.
I always thought it was a weird stretch too, but I think they're gonna have him more as the military Alfred, you know,
like Batman Earth 1. I think they're that type of Alfred.
Yeah, which I could see that.
I'm stoked for it, man. It's gonna be great.
I am too.
I mean, the Planet of the Apes movies were fantastic. I don't know if you guys have ever seen those. That trilogy. That trilogy is amazing. Yeah, especially the latter two.
Yeah, he did let the right one in. How is
Let Me In?
Let the right one in. Let Me In is the German version.
Yeah,
isn't it? Or Let the Right One in.
Let the Right One in is the Swedish one, right?
Okay, yeah.
And Let Me In is the American one.
Yeah,
I think.
Right.
So
I'm pumped for it. And Zoe Kravitz as Selena Kyle Catwoman, I think it's gonna be fine. I think it's gonna be great. I'm really excited for it.
Mm-hmm,
I'm just not allowing myself to like giddy up. That's
I've been waiting 3 years for this, man.
I've been waiting my whole life.
You guys see how the cape turns into like a wingsuit? Did anyone see that?
Yeah.
He like tightens the cape up, and instead of like gliding with the cape, it like becomes like a full-bodied wingsuit. That's how it glides around. It's pretty badass looking at it.
That's cool.
Wow.
Yeah, man, dude. Honestly, and if anyone has doubts about Pattinson as Batman, straight up, go watch Good Time. I think it's either called Good Time or Good Times.
Good Times.
And the light. Or did you say the Lighthouse stuff?
That's a good one. High Life was one.
High Life. Yeah. Dude, he is a great actor, man.
Right.
And he is a major fan of Batman. And he said too in interviews that like after Twilight and all that, or there was I forget when, but he said he only wanted to do like weird roles. And he's like, nobody gets weirder than Batman. And dude, I think, I just cannot wait. Like just like the punk look with the fucking, what do you call that, with the black underneath
mascara or whatever. Yeah,
like, dude.
I would say if you have doubts about Pattinson, go watch him in interviews talk shit about Twilight. That gives me more confidence in anything. He's got I don't know. He's got balls, and I don't know. He's got taste, I should say.
Yeah, he consciously chose like after Twilight just to stick to like Dylan was saying, like independent roles. You know, he like stayed away from major Hollywood stuff.
Right.
I thought he was perfect. I thought he was a perfect choice, especially because of Twilight.
Right. I mean, those movies are dog shit, but he's got the look.
He's got the look. Yeah, young Bruce, good-looking guy, tall guy. I'm sure if he works out, and I'm sure he has for this movie.
Oh, dude,
people look good.
He had a little trouble putting on some weight, I guess, because he's skinny, kind of like me. But if you look and there's a shot with him like standing with his shirt off, he got ripped for this, man. He got ripped, and like, man, I just like I think he's gonna be great, man. I just really do, man. And I love just the vibes. Like it's gonna be a straight up detective movie. It's got Seven vibes all over it, which that's like a horror movie. It has the horror atmosphere. It has the detective. The atmosphere in that always wanted a real detective Batman movie.
Yeah. The atmosphere in it seems really atmospheric.
Yeah,
totally. It's phenomenally atmospheric.
It's phenomenally atmospheric.
It's gonna be the best psychological thriller of the 2020s. I guarantee it right now.
It's gonna leave a big gaping hole in my heart.
The way Gotham looks too, it looks really atmospheric, definitely.
Yeah.
Which that's a big part. That's a big part of
for real though.
Batman is how Gotham looks, man.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I love the red lights. That just gives me the Batman animated vibes. I always love the red lights.
Did they use Chicago again? Does anybody know? Or do they stay away from that?
I think they stayed away from that. I almost want to say like they might have used like built sets for it to give it a more authentic feel. I think that's where Christopher Nolan kind of got too lost in the sauce. Is just looking like downtown New York, and I don't know, it's
Yeah.
a better movie in Dark Knight Rises, but I think in Batman Begins it felt and looked more like Gotham than it did in the Dark Knight Rises.
It was way
Yeah.
more
But the Dark Knight-
stylized. Yeah.
Yeah.
As he went on, it looked more like Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
Definitely.
right.
Definitely.
I mean, I'm from near Chicago, so I always just thought it was cool. I was like, fuck
I
yeah,
would.
Right.
give us something.
Yeah. It looks cool. It's more grounded in that way, obviously, but I feel like Batman Begins, Gotham was a lot darker. And
Yes.
then once you get into the Dark Knight, like especially like the beginning, you see a lot more of the skylines and like more of the realistic shots. It does have still a little bit of the darkness,
Yeah.
but it definitely is not like what Begins is, So I'm really excited to see, because Gotham is like is a character itself,
Mhm.
So
The Gotham before the Burton movies though was kind of it could have been Metropolis, just with the darker skin. You know what I'm saying? So like it was the Burton film that kind of changed it, and then the comics mimicked that. They even did a whole story
Really?
arc where the architecture changed, and then they did Cataclysm and No Man's Land, and then they got to rebuild Gotham to mimic the animated series, which came from the Burton vision, plus some old school stuff kind of thrown together. So, but Gotham, that the way it works is that Batman could exist in anything. He could be in a medieval village, and that story would still work, right? So that's what's cool about it.
That's cool.
Yeah. But yeah, man. So yeah, March Madness next week. Can't wait. It's gonna be awesome. Any of you guys want to throw anything out there before we get out of here? Anything coming up?
Tomorrow, as you know, 6 p.m. Eastern on Instagram Live. Blame Fable Tonight with Missing Link and Big Herm. Tomorrow, our special guest will be Eric the Stash Durant.
Oh shit!
And we are covering the classic Twins with Danny DeVito
Oh,
and
that's
Arnold
awesome.
Schwarzenegger.
Great
That's a
movie.
fun one.
I'm
yeah,
pissed
we're
y'all
gonna
beat
have a
me
good
to
time.
it, man.
Take out the paper and the trash.
We're gonna do
So
great
yeah.
outdoors before you. Just wait.
That's the fun one, dude.
And of course, we're the official lead-in show to Rockin' Robbie Live over on Pop Culture Philophers YouTube channel. So check that out, Robbie. I'll let you take care of that one. But yeah, Blame Fable Tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern, Sunday night. Me, Link, and Big Herm.
Well, that leads me to say that Rockin' Robbie Live is tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Central Time. We are the official after party for the Blame Fable Tonight show. So join us there, PCP movie night. We're going to be talking about Superman 1, 2, and 3, and 4 with Christopher Reeve, Gene Hackman, Marlon Brando, Richard Pryor, whoever Nuclear Man is. I don't remember that dude's name, but like it's going to be a fantastic show. Me, Jelani, Brooks, Brian, Joe Corallo, and Ibrahim Mustafa, whose favorite Superman movie ever is Part 4. It's going to be a good conversation.
Hell yeah.
He's great too. I'll just say it again for anybody that didn't see it. My favorite conversation that Robbie's probably ever had was with Ibrahim Mustafa.
Oh,
just
for Superman
a great
4?
dude.
For the Quest for Peace? I cannot wait
saying,
till they cover the Quest for Peace.
Yeah.
Man. I want to see what's going to go on in that one because I'm on Ibrahim's side. I love Quest for Peace.
He's a great dude. He's just an entertaining fella.
It was a really cool conversation, and he was supposed to be on the John Wick PCP movie night, but he was trying to meet his deadline for a book that we're about to see, which is called Retrovision. So everybody needs to get in on that. So straight up.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Steph, did you have anything you wanted to say or throw out there, my man? I know you're probably tagging along with what Fable said, but just had to ask. Can't leave you out, my man.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah, what Fable said, reiterate that. Blame Fable tomorrow. Tonight, tomorrow, 6 p.m.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Go check out the best show on Instagram by goddamn far.
For sure.
Straight
Hell
up.
yeah. I got an episode up talking about Marvel books that came out last week. It was a ton of fun with my boy Peter Geiger. And keep an eye out on the Cerebros. I'll be slapping something together. I think I'm gonna do something on Batman, y'all.
Hell yeah.
Nobody else here is doing that, so I might put something together.
I really want to do something.
And talk about Batman.
I don't know.
Keep an eye out for it.
What are you gonna do? A
Thanks,
live
Aaron.
or like a?
I've never done a live, but I fucking feel like I might do a live, dude.
Do a live, man.
I'm in that
Mhm.
fuck it mode.
When
If
you
you
do
do,
it,
man. If you do, let me know, man. Maybe
Whenever
When you
you're
do it.
available, Robbie. Whenever you're available.
Friday night.
Friday night, dude. I'm off Friday, so yeah, I could totally do it.
I'm not off Friday, but depending on what time, I'd be down to join. I'd be down.
Yeah,
to
dude, we'll
join.
work something out, dude. You guys are all invited for sure.
Yeah, because man, I'm
Thank you.
gonna be dying to talk about that. And if I don't talk
Yeah.
about it like on someone's channel, I'll probably talk about it on the Entity show. Or, like, might take up the whole damn show.
That's great.
But yeah, next week, man, the Entity March Madness is kicking off. It's gonna be awesome, man. It's gonna be awesome. I appreciate everyone joining. Jerem, Brother Joe, Big Herm, Two Gun. Let's see. Did I say Big Herm already? TM Nerdy just joined us, just waking his ass up, I'm guessing.
Talk
Albert
about Canada
Lanford.
earlier.
I don't know if they're doing a Penguin movie or Penguin TV series. The only thing I heard, I didn't even know about that. I only know about the Gotham series on HBO Max, about like the Gotham PD. Gloria Lawman, Rogue Collecting. Let's see who else is up in here. The Comic Book G Spot. I know Brandon was up in here way earlier.
JT was up in this bitch.
JT,
Brother Joe.
Manny, Steve Clifton, Air Spider, penultimate atmosphere, which is probably a cat haircut. Haven't seen him since.
Ultimate atmosphere. That's amazing.
Great.
Billy Power.
Manny's one of the funniest motherfuckers I know. Nick Comic Culture.
JT, my man John Thomas. Yeah, I was just gonna say Nick Comic Culture, T House.
Wasn't Randy up here, Dylan?
Huh?
Randy?
Comic Book Therapy. Randy.
Yeah, said he ran these nuts across your face.
Yeah. I saw it.
I'm
Randy.
Randy.
Yo, you don't know what you started in the backlog, bros, man. That's like
Yeah.
one half of what we try to do is catch each other on these nuts jokes, like all day. Be like,
your favorite
I
kind
got
Gary North.
I got cover A, cover B. Did you get cover D? E, cover E?
Yeah, right. I was just waiting for someone to say cover D. What's your favorite kind of canned spaghetti?
Oh my god. Y'all are too funny. But you guys are the best. Thank you as always for chilling with us this evening. Cannot wait till next week. I hope everyone is able to go out and see the Batman and have some fun. Y'all are the best, man. Y'all stay safe. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll catch y'all later. Station.
Hell yeah.